rebooting the whole.
I got you. What you got?
Do you know a veteran in need? After
Warm and
military, many veterans struggle to find their way home. Because to a veteran, home isn't just a place, it's an idea, a feeling. Nation's Finest understands the challenges veterans face. Through the VA's Supportive Services for Veteran Families program, we help veterans and their families struggling with rent, employment, and other housing-related costs. Today, Nation's Finest operates more than 30 locations in California, Arizona, and Nevada. For more than 50 years, we've helped thousands of veterans in these
Dr.
communities
Steve. You may
build
have to keep him
healthy,
on hold.
and purposeful lives. And our team is committed to supporting those who've served and their families for another 50. To get help, visit nationsfinest.org.
and
1-833-468-9676. That's 1-833-468-9676.
Hey, shh. Calm down. The show is about to start. Reese on the Radio. Turn it up. Turn it up low. Turn it up loud.
It's like a dream come true.
Turn on your radio. Reese's on the radio.
Yo, let's get it.
Due to the nature of this program, discretion does not exist. It's Reese on the Radio. Right now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Takes a minute. Yeah! Oh, my scallywags, where you at? We got to get ready to go. What's going on? It's Reese on the Radio on WTIC News Talk 1080. Now, look. It is important to note that even though we are online today, you can go to reeseontheradio.com. You got to listen to us at WTIC. Other than that, the Red Sox are playing, and they look good. It's 2-0, 2-1, 2-something. I don't know, but the Red Sox in the lead. And all I care about is the fact that the Yankees ain't in first place. Can we applaud that, please? Huh. Not a Yankee fan. And I say that with glee. Born, raised, Hollis, Queens. Don't care. I grew up a Met fan. Let's be honest. I grew up a Met fan. But they've been garbage for a lot of years. I don't even consider the turn of the century Mets a good team. You know, even though there are a couple of guys on that squad that I liked, but I wasn't a fan. You know, there are some guys that I like, but not a lot of them. But I grew up with the real Mets. You know, the bad guys. Those are the guys that Jason, watch your mouth. What do you mean, go Yankees? You live in New England now. Get with the program. I don't want to get into that. We'll get the score, as we always do, while listening to the show. We'll keep you abreast of that. We got plenty of news and plenty of views to get into today. And because we are online for the first 2 hours until the game's over, it could, go real fast. Quick, fast, and hurry. We'll get back. We'll get into the meat of the stories that you care about after the fact. But can I take a moment here to do something off the beaten path? I'm kind of going to do two monologues at the same time. Because I think in some way they intersect in theme. Because I promised you today that I was going to talk about the curious case of Kevin Rosario Moreno. And this was the teenager, the honor student at the Meridian High School that went to a an immigration hearing with his dad. Both were detained and currently sit in a ICE detention center in Texas. Now, we can go through the whole thing of finding out why they're there, why they're being held, and go online and get all that information. But I got to be honest with you, folks. I got other stuff to do. I'm too busy. I am not the person who made Kevin Rosero Moreno the subject of everybody's, consternation, concern. I didn't. They did. Which is kind of my point. What happened to the story of Kevin Rosero Moreno? Why is it no longer a story? We had to deal with at least 2 years of Michael Brown. We dealt with 4 years of Trayvon Martin. We're still talking about George Floyd. Eric Garner didn't get that much love because he was overweight and he was selling cigarettes. He was obviously living a very, very foul lifestyle, and people really couldn't ride that wave for too long. Freddie Gray we had to deal with for an entire year, until they found out that the police officers that Marilyn Mosby was charging were black. Then people had to run for their hills. You know the deal. But nonetheless, usually when it is one of those issues we're all supposed to get weepy-eyed about, the story never goes away. And in this case, when it comes to immigration, it seemed odd that a high school student, honor student, that everyone was running to the high school to cover, FSB, TNH, Fox 61, Connecticut, NBC Connecticut, they were all running to get on the scene news coverage. The mayor was talking about it. Everybody was talking about it. And now all of a sudden the story's gone. And it's not like immigration isn't a hot button issue. We got the Newington 7, and let's not forget the granddaddy of immigration, that is Kilmar Abrego Garcia. He's the poster boy of due process for illegals. He's who the left references every given day. But see, when I first started talking about Kevin Rosero Moreno, I talked to our colleague. I called him at home. Well, he was on his cell phone, but he was at home. Matt Soroyce, who does sports in the morning for Bryan and Company. I called him and I said, hey, you got a number on this guy, the mayor of Meredith? Sure enough, he did. I said, hey, can you reach out to the guy? I'd love to talk to him and see if he knows anything about Kevin Rosero Moreno's story, about why he was detained. Never got a call back. Never. I reached out to his office. Never got a call back. And it turns out that every time I tried to get in touch with somebody in a mayor's office, we're talking about the mayor of a Connecticut city, small time. We're not talking like big city mayors, right? Like the mayor of Hartford. Hell, I even got Justin Elliker to come on the show last year. And he won't come back, by the way. He won't come back. He's got too much to answer for. And you notice he's not asking for equal time, even though I had his opponent, Stephen Orozco, on the program. Anyway, I digress. My point is that when you try to reach these people, no one ever wants to pick up the phone. We tried to get Mayor Roonin on the line. Can't answer. We tried to get Chris Murphy's office on the line. Can't get him. Dick Blumenthal. Nope. We ask these people all the time. We try to get in touch with A.G. Tong. Hey, A.G. Tong, what's going on with Elvira Said? No response. They won't even respond to emails or letters. Hell, the Republican Party in Connecticut sends letters to DEEP, sends letters to the CAES, sends letters to everybody they can, and no response. And the story is over. I looked it up. Where's Kevin Rosero Moreno's story? We were all told to stop what we were doing and be outraged. And I told you it was nonsense. I told you after a while they weren't going to care. They just move on. And sure enough, they did. But why do these stories intersect? You know, about not getting the answer. Imagine my surprise when I saw the mayor of Hartford, Mayor Aruna, what's his name? Arunin. I'm never going to pronounce his name right. I'm sorry. I'm trying. I don't want to be disrespectful to the man's name. I have to say it the way that I've always said it. Arupapalum. like Ba-Rup-Bum-Bum and a little drummer boy song. It's the only way I could do it. I'm sorry. He knows it's a difficult name. That's why everybody calls him Mayor Roonin. But imagine my surprise when I look at WFSB's live feed and I hear the mayor at a press conference talking about the Connecticut Sun, talking about how the WNBA is going to take the team from the Mohegan tribe and sell it on their own. And they're going to buy it for the Mohegan tribe at $75 million less than the going rate for the Mohegan tribe. But while he was giving this speech, he said something that I had to laugh out loud about.
We want you to sell the team to us for $250 million, which is $75 million less than the offer that is being talked about, to pay the current owners, which is a tribe of Native Americans, $75 million less than the market value of this team, is ridiculous behavior from the league. And it's ridiculous because they should be playing here. The Sun should be playing right behind me at the People's Bank Arena in front of what would be one of the largest arenas in the WNBA, in front of over 16,000 screaming fans who have a love and appreciation and understanding of this game that dates back decades. We have been a place that has loved women's basketball long before anybody was talking about Caitlin Clark, long before anybody was talking about multi-million-dollar deals. Look, half the WNBA cut their teeth on the hardwood right behind me, playing either for or against the most storied basketball team in all of women's basketball, the UConn Huskies.
He's 100% right. I was with them the entire way. And I said, look at him go, feverishly fighting for the I almost called them the UConn Sun. Might as well, right? Fighting for the Connecticut Sun so they can stay right here in Hartford. I'm not going to lie. Even though I laugh at the WNBA, I do agree with the fact that they should be in Hartford. If they're going to be successful, Hartford's the place to be, not Mohegan. Nothing against the Mohegan tribe. It's just too far. And in the city, what a vibrant image that would be for the city. People coming out, anyone who usually can't drive all the way to go to a game at the Mohegan can now go right into Hartford. It's the epicenter. It would be such a welcomed thing in the area, without a doubt. So I agree with the mayor. Then he lost me.
And this is how the league shows their appreciation for that history, by saying to Connecticut, you don't get to have a team anymore. So I'm calling on Connecticut residents to fight back. It is
okay. Mayor Aruna, you're asking for Connecticut residents to fight back. What would you like them to do, sir?
Time to fight back, to flood the league offices with calls. Hit them up on social media, tag them at the WNBA, call them at the number right here listed below, and tell them to not steal the team from Connecticut. And I'll tell you, I tried to express my displeasure.
Okay, so he wants everybody in Connecticut, get on the phones, call the WNBA. Everybody in Connecticut, rally. Get them on the phone. Let them know that you're displeased by this. You don't want the team to go to Boston. You don't want the team to go to some other major city. You want it right here in Hartford. And then Mayor Arunin started talking about trying to reach the WNBA. I wonder what happened. Mayor, care to tell us?
And I'll tell you, I tried to express my displeasure. I tried to call the WNBA. I looked for a number. They've taken down their contact me page. The best we can find is an AI-operated line. I guess the WNBA doesn't want to hear from their fans anymore. But let's call them and leave enough voice messages until they respond, until they're forced to respond to the fans and to the people of this state. Because
surely you jest. You are calling out the WNBA for changing their telephone number and putting in an AI telephone number and not returning your phone call? Surely you are not the pot calling the kettle black there, Mayor. How many phone calls have you been answering? How many requests for information are you answering? How many phone calls, emails have the people of Hartford sent you that you ignored? Now, all of a sudden, you're upset that the WNBA, a private company, they don't answer to you. You answer to us, but you pretty much give us the same crap that they gave you. And you seem to be miffed by it. Well, I guess they don't want to hear from us. Yeah, we're getting the same impression. I couldn't help but laugh. I was like, are these people serious? Is this dude serious? Yes, they are. Did you see the irony in that? And look, this is the reason why these guys should not riff. Don't wing it. It was the only thing I cared about in the whole press conference was when he said that. I was on board with him. And I've even said, I said a long time ago, I don't think that people in Connecticut are going to fight as hard as they want to, because the only way they're going to stay is if you do, if you fight for them. Why isn't Lamont there? The mayor's there, but not Lamont. I found that odd. Whatever. Where's Chris Murphy? How about Dick Blumenthal? Blumenthal at least showed up to poison the water. You think he'd show up? You think he'd show up to at least keep some revenue in the city, in the capital city? I was completely miffed by that. I was like, really? Really? This guy is upset that he's not getting his phone calls returned? How's it feel? How does it feel? And then, because you, the mayor of Hartford, can't get your calls answered, really bizarre, you then say, well, you guys, leave some messages. They're not even answering the mayor's calls. This does not exude confidence, my friend, at all. Dare I say, does this show have more influence than you, Mayor? Not that I would ever be so arrogant. But when I call up the WNBA, I get my calls answered. Oh, yeah, you damn well right I do. Because I know who to call. Perhaps you should give Reese on the Radio a call. And I'll tell you how you can get your calls through. But it'll come at a cost. Oh, I don't want any money. See, a guy like me, I deal with a different kind of currency, Mayor. I want answers. That's the price that you bozos aren't willing to pay. And for that, that's a price too high. That price is really, really high. But that's okay. Go on, hold another press conference there, Mr. Runanen, whatever. We got to go? I didn't hear you.
To the bottom.
Oh, we go straight to the bottom? Okay, that's fine. Let's read some of the comments. Christine in Middletown says, let's go Mets. You're dead to me. No, I'm kidding. They've got to play the Red Sox. Okay? If they play in anybody, they have to play the Red Sox if they were to go. And I want the Red Sox in the World Series. I don't want the Mets there. They'll be going through. Not enough people watch the WNBA, Jason writes. Yeah, but enough people go to the games. And it would be helpful, revenue-wise, to get people into the city, no? Even a little bit. I mean, that Burger King on the corner, the one that's right across the street from Morton's, it's still there. I was driving through the city the other day, and I saw that Burger King right there on the corner. I'm like, damn, the Burger King is there 20 years later. I couldn't believe it. I was like, that's a Burger King there. That's really there. It's been there forever. Big Sal says, my vote to keep them in Connecticut as well. I don't want weak-ass brand of basketball in Boston. Big Sal. Okay, Sal is up in Boston. Sal, let's tell the truth, my friend. When the Connecticut Sun was there, they sold out the place. They love basketball up there. Now, I don't think – I know that a lot of people say it was because Caitlin Clark was there. That may be true. That may be true. But Boston's got a lot of support for its sports teams. And I think this sounds like I'm being mean to them, but I don't. I don't mean it in a bad way. It's not to be subversive. I think that Boston always being in competition with New York, because that is their direct rival. They support their teams in a way New York can't. And I think primarily because, like, the Knicks this time around, it was half-assed. It just was. Like, we don't have stars on the Knicks anymore. We used to, but we don't anymore. They're no big names. We got to drag somebody's old bones from another team. You know, the last week, who did we get? Amari Stoudemire, Carmelo Anthony. Who else? What big name did we get over in the Knicks?
Right now, you got Jalen Brunson.
No, I'm just saying we have Jalen Brunson. But you ask any of the critics, they think Jalen Brunson is a bust.
Really?
Yes. Most people think he's a bust. They think he doesn't have what it takes to be a leader. I mean, he's an okay player. He's
well, everybody can't be a leader. He's a phenomenal player, but I didn't say nothing about being a leader.
I know, but I think he's kind of a runt. You know, he's no Rajon Rondo. And he should be. Rajon Rondo, I mean, think about Rajon Rondo. He led that Celtics team. I don't care what anybody says. I love what Doc Rivers said about Rajon Rondo. He called him the quarterback of that team. And
Gotta roll.
They're big names there. Damn it. All right, we got to go to break. We'll be back. More news, more views. Stand by. An hour and a half, we'll be back on the regular radio because I got plenty of stuff to get into. All right? Top of the news comes up now with John Silva in the WTIC newsroom. Hey,
Dave
John.
Mager.
Dave Mager's in today. Hey, Dave. How are you? Hey,
Hello,
Dave.
how are you?
All right.
And now, a WTIC news update.
75 degrees at 2:30. I'm Dave Mager, WTIC 1080 News. High in the upper 70s and sunny. Low around 60 tonight.
I swear he says his own name with an N. I swear he does. Every time I hear it, he's saying Dave Nager. I swear he is.
Flights due
But it's
issues.
I'm like, I don't know what's going on.
That's been lifted, but there are significant delays for arrivals and departures at Newark. Some police departments increasing patrols around schools. There's no specific threat reported, but they're reacting to yesterday's deadly shooting in Minneapolis. 2 children were killed, 18 injured. The shooter, a former student at that Catholic school and church. Police Chief Brian O'Hara tells CBS News.
This is a deranged individual who, like so many other mass shooters, had an obsession with previous mass shootings that was looking to cause as much trauma and carnage as possible for their own personal notoriety.
Investigators are plowing through the videos, writings, and movements of the shooter to determine a motive. Studies on the best way to replace the aging Mixmaster in Waterbury are going forward. 2 competing plans would both drop the double-decker I-84 bridge. Construction is a decade away. Senator Richard Blumenthal, appearing with state police, talking about cybercrime against kids, is reintroducing a bill to update the Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force. There's a Ford recall of 500,000 SUVs.
The issue is with a hose that can rupture on 2015 to 2018 model year Ford Edges and Lincoln MKXs. That hose can leak brake fluid. That could lengthen stopping distances and increase the risk of a crash. Ford says it has no reports of crashes or injuries related to the problem.
CBS's Jeff Gilbert. On Wall Street, the Dow up 23 points, S&P climbing 20, the NASDAQ is up 132. And we check the WTIC forecast.
The remainder of this afternoon, partly sunny and pleasant with a high 77. Increasing clouds tonight with a low of 58. Then a lot of clouds tomorrow, a couple of showers and a thunderstorm into the early afternoon. Then gusty winds and small hail can accompany any thunderstorm with a high of 75. Clear tomorrow night, low 53. Then partly sunny and pleasant on Saturday with a high of 76. This is meteorologist Scott Homan in the WTIC Weather Center.
75 degrees now. Sports live on AM 1080. It's Red Sox baseball. Boston and Baltimore are tied at 2 in the 6th inning. Yankees at the White Sox later. For more, check out WTIC.com. I'm Dave Mager, WTIC 1080 News.
Every moment counts.
Welcome home, Craig.
With lung cancer. And anyone with lungs can get lung cancer. It causes more cancer deaths than breast, colon, and prostate combined. And while there may be moments where you question your next step, through it all, Go To for Lung Cancer is here for you. We are your community. For screening, treatment, and survivorship support, Go2 is your go-to. Confronting lung cancer starts here. Visit go2.org.
Your kids could get free or low-cost health coverage from Medicaid or CHIP. Even if you've applied before, they may be eligible now. Kids up to age 19 are covered for checkups, vaccines, dentist visits, hospital care, and more. And if they already have Medicaid or CHIP, remember to renew every year. Visit insurekidsnow.gov or call 877-KIDS-NOW. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Unused prescription opioid pain medicines can spell trouble. They can spell risk if taken by someone they weren't prescribed for, harm if accidentally taken by a child or pet, or overdose if they're not used as directed. Safely dispose of opioids before they can hurt your family. Find a drug take-back option such as medicine drop boxes. You may find these in your community at local pharmacies or police stations. Visit www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
Do you know a veteran in need? Nation's Finest, through the VA's Supportive Services for Veteran Families program, helps veterans and their families struggling with rent, employment, and other housing-related costs. Today, Nation's Finest operates more than 30 locations in California, Arizona, and Nevada, helping thousands of veterans every year. Visit nationsfinest.org or call 1-833-468-9676. That's 1-833-468-9676.
When a warrior faces adversity, he fights through it. He finds a way. Freedom isn't free. Rolling strong. Belief. Believe you can, and you will.
Wheelchairs for Warriors provides mobility solutions to veterans and first responders injured in the line of duty. Join the mission and visit wheelchairsforwarriors.org.
I'm okay. You're not okay. It's normal to have diarrhea and stomach pains. Sometimes, but not as often as you do. I've got this under control. No, you don't.
It's time to let that voice inside your head be heard. Urgent diarrhea and chronic stomach pain can be signs of Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation can help you learn more and even find a specialist. Don't keep your symptoms to yourself. Get help at spillyourguts.org.
Life roller coaster. It has its high and low moments, zooming through our lives. Sometimes we feel excited and full of joy, and other times we feel numb to the world around us. Low moments are a part of life. They help us cherish the good times. That's why it's important to reach out when life's lows stop us in our tracks. Connect with someone now. Call 211 or text 988.
Our critically injured veterans and first responders are left behind every day because of inadequate wheelchairs. That's why Wheelchairs for Warriors is on a mission to serve America's heroes across the nation and provide them with custom-fit wheelchairs, tailored to fit their needs to ensure they rejoin their lives at the highest level of independent mobility and function possible. From lightweight daily use chairs or adaptive sports chairs to all-terrain wheelchairs, Warriors Outdoors. Wheelchairs for Warriors serves those who served us. To join their mission, visit their website at wheelchairsforwarriors.org today.
Stay locked in. Reese on the Radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Sorry about that. We were trying to get some other stuff ready here. Reese on the Radio, WTIC News Talk 1080. We're going to talk a lot more about, of course, the school shooting that took place in Minneapolis, Minnesota. There was an incredible headline today that we saw on NBC Connecticut that just blew my mind. Imagine this, folks. Connecticut Police Department step-up presence as precaution. At schools? Really? What led that? What would be the reason for that? I can't seem to think where anybody would have gotten that idea from. After the constant, no, we can't do that, no, we're not going to do it, I remember it well. I was there. Remember Chris Murphy? Never, ever stopped or tried to bring legislation to put an end to it.
Does removing a trained armed officer make schools safer? You have 90 seconds.
Well, I actually haven't introduced legislation to remove school resource officers. I've introduced legislation to direct federal funding towards social workers and psychologists that I think are very badly needed. I actually think it should be up to.
All new for you tonight at 11. Police shouldn't be in schools. That thought coming from Connecticut Senator Chris Murphy.
Now, he, along with 3 other lawmakers, are introducing a bill that would pave the way to get officers out of schools. Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Matthew Campbell takes a closer look.
Well, Mark and Aaron, we've gotten familiar recently with the term defund the police. In many cases, it means diverting some of the funding to other areas, and that's what this proposal is calling for. But it also really does seem to call for getting police out of schools.
Yeah, police have got to get out of schools. It's insane. But now, all of a sudden, NBC Connecticut, 5 hours ago, Connecticut Police Department step up presence as a precaution. Police departments across Connecticut are stepping up patrols as a precaution after the tragic shooting in Minneapolis on Wednesday. What prompted that? Let me give you an idea of what may have prompted it. Perhaps somebody would get an idea. Again, never working in law enforcement, not a psychiatrist or a lesser-known psychologist. But let me break it down to you. Because I can't figure out who amongst us is a whack job killer who believes that they should take their vengeance out on a school. Because I can't. We don't have pre-crime. Like in the old Tom Cruise movie, Minority Report. Because I cannot isolate you by looking at you going, he looks like a school shooter. Because I can't do that, I figure I would go to where the target is, the school, and put a deterrent there. Because even though we can't figure out who the whack job is, we know where the school is, right? Do what you can instead of the stuff that you can't figure out. It's real simple. Yeah, they're going after schools. Protect that. See how that works? If a pretty woman is known for being harassed because of the neighborhood that she's in, she does more to protect herself because she doesn't know which one of these lunatics out there are going to actually take it one step further and probably accost her. Because guess what? She is the target. So instead of just targeting people randomly, he looks weird, he looks crazy, she arms herself, the potential victim. I mean, it's easy as 1, 2, 3, ain't it? And now all of a sudden everybody woke up in the morning after the shooting, after the really, really bad shooting. All of a sudden somebody turned around and says, yeah, maybe we should protect the actual target here. And then we're supposed to applaud these people for showing up late? You're not getting an applause for tardiness. Just not going to happen. But we appreciate you figuring it out. We've only been telling you since Newtown. Some of us have been telling you since Columbine. I'm just saying. Is it Columbine? Yes, it's Columbine. Yeah, that's right. Hey, Dr. Steve is on the line. I love Dr. Steve. How we doing, sir? Do I not have him? That's weird.
Change your phone over?
Yeah, I changed it over. Hold on. Let me see. I'm almost certain I did. I fixed my phone. Yeah, it's there. Yeah, I switched it over. Let me see if you can pick it up on your end. I'm switched. Let's see if he shows up on yours. Which is kind of weird. Let's see. Hey, hello, Dr. Steve. Hey, what's going on, sir?
Hey, Reese. I thought that was something on my end.
No, it was definitely on something weird going on here. What can I do you for today?
I have 2 potential topics, and you decide which one I want to talk about, because I won't burden you with both.
Okay.
The first one is the gun violence issue, which is, of course, one you were just talking about.
Yes,
the
sir.
other one is the issue about the closure of the wind farm off the coast of Rhode Island. Choose your own adventure. Where do you want to go with, Reese? Your show.
I used to love these games back in the days, the choose your own adventure ones. So wind farms are boring. So I'm going to go with the school shootings. What do you got?
All right. I figured as much. I think if you look at forget what I think. What I know is that when Connecticut enacted a whole bunch of gun safety legislation, back in like 2010, 2012, there was a 20% reduction in the number of handgun deaths in the state of Connecticut.
Okay.
And if you look at gun safety legislation all over the country, those states that have the most robust gun safety legislation writ large have lower rates of gun violence. And you can do pre-post statistics too. It's not just like, some states maybe just be less given to violence for whatever reason and they have more restrictive laws. You can actually look at pre-post data, which means you look at gun deaths prior to legislation and then after, and the data is incontrovertible. There's reductions when you have more strong, more robust gun safety things like you need to have a certain period of time between when you apply to get a gun to when you can get it. So those kinds of delays dramatically reduce the suicide rates across the nation. When you have universal background checks, you reduce the rates of gun violence. When you have just more restrictions on red flag laws.
Red flags.
When you have more red flag laws, you have less gun violence occurring. So there's a lot of really good common sense gun legislation that works without starting to invoke like having, the National Guard show up to protect schools or churches.
All right, don't go down the road with the National Guard, because that's another debate, but I'll have that with you at any time. Let's stick with this one. Now, with everything that you just said, I'm going to concede to you, Dr. Steve. I'm going to concede that those laws that you're talking about drove down the number of those incidents, right? We talked the suicide rates, the mass shootings, and things like that, which almost flies in the face of this idea of trickle-down economics or trickle-down effect, because what we're seeing here is a trickle-down effect, right? Because other people can't get guns. Like, in other words, if you're a legal gun buyer selling them nefariously, illegally, in other words, if those laws are stronger, you can't do the illegal sales or the sales that go to this person that where, and those guns ending up in the hands of notorious or nefarious individuals. So you're right. The trickle-down effect works. So I would like everybody in the government to hear that myself and Dr. Steve agree that trickle-down works. Okay? Just so you know.
That's great.
No, but fair, right? Trickle-down works. But we also have to take into consideration, Dr. Steve, that Minnesota has a red flag law, and that didn't deter this individual. What do you say to that? And can we say that even though we get a reduction, it doesn't mean we don't absolve ourselves from the tragedy? Because even when Bill Clinton was right, it doesn't mean we didn't get mass shootings, because we did.
Yeah, no question. I mean, seatbelts, they don't prevent every motor vehicle death. But God knows I'm going to still wear mine, and I presume you're going to wear yours. There is no such thing as a single act of legislation that's going to stop all gun deaths. And as you alluded to earlier, the majority of gun deaths, it's not these mass shootings. I mean, while there's a mass shooting happening literally every day in America, and I'm not exaggerating, there's a mass shooting defined as 3 or 4 people killed at once by a single gun.
That's correct.
Shooter happens once per day, every single day of the year. But that pales in comparison to the gun deaths happening in the inner city amongst black and brown people, as you said earlier, which is, it just so far outstrips that. So you're not going to have, more gun security in schools and churches and other places is not going to alleviate that problem. So you just hope that you can patch together enough laws, enough legislations, enough actions, and enough politicians willing to act to start to decrease the number. You can't possibly stop the number.
Correct.
There's always going to be some way for someone to get a gun and do something crazy.
It's crazy because I was thinking about this yesterday as I was having that discussion with that first caller that you're referring to. Is, I looked at two numbers that blew my mind, and it was the rate of which mass shootings were happening by race. And he was talking about the explosion since the Columbine situation of 99? Was that 99?
Around there.
Yeah, around there. So he was talking about the explosive rise in school shootings since Columbine, and he was saying that was happening far more often. That was happening at schools far more often than it was happening in black schools. He was saying white schools versus black schools. The interesting part is that I then was given a statistic immediately, and I love the listeners here because they're always online getting more and more data. I then saw a poll immediately after that broke down these mass shootings because, Dr. Steve, as you know, there are many of these arguments that are made, especially by those in the liberal intelligentsia, that the white boys, they got to kill each other at the schools. But somebody sent me a statistic that says mass shootings overall are committed more by blacks than they are by whites, even considering the school. Because when you see a mass shooting, it's always at a school. When it comes to white suburban neighborhoods, with the exception of Uvalde. However, when we talk about mass shootings or mass killings, it turns out that the African-American community far outweighs white kids who are doing it. So I would separate, and I would tell people, please stop making it about whether or not it's happening in suburban areas or versus the urban areas. What I would make an argument is that if there is a gun issue that we need to address, fine. Let's find some common ground there. But the thing that we know for certain is who the targets are. And we should protect those because we can't isolate. We can't walk around saying this person, that person, and this person might be a potential killer, and we need to make sure that we keep the guns out of there. There's no way to do that because in some cases, we may be doing the thing that many people are concerned about, taking guns out of people who don't deserve to have their guns removed from them. Let's go after the targets of said shooters.
I just don't think you can because
why not?
Targets, Reese.
Whoa. Why can't you protect schools?
No, but think about the shootings. Again, you and I are both focusing on the mass shootings, and they're the tiniest fraction of deaths. But even if we do focus on the mass shootings, think about where they occurred in the last 5 years: a grocery store, a nightclub, a rock concert. Yes, of course, some occurred at churches, some occurred at schools. But they're everywhere, man. There is no.
Oh no! I'm not denying that.
Focus on any one place. You got to focus on a building with 4 walls.
I'm not denying that they're not everywhere. But what I'm saying is that when we tell people that having armed guards, and I mean police, at certain places are more affected by optics instead of doing the job that they're supposed to do. Remember, everyone believes that the police are the only ones who should have guns because they protect people. But on the other side of their mouth, they're going, but we don't want them here. And I'm going, no. You can't have it both ways. You don't want everybody to have a gun. So if nobody is allowed to protect themselves and the police should have the job of doing that, then let's have the police everywhere where these soft targets are. That's all. That's what we're asking. We're asking for a police state. Aren't we?
Said that way.
Aren't we?
I just think there's other things to focus on rather than.
Then how about this, Dr. Steve? Let's ask you this. Who would you rather have guns if you had to make a choice? And I'll give you 3, okay? We'll give you multiple choices. Would you like the police and government to have guns? Would you like citizens to be armed to defend themselves, or would you like both?
Number 1. I'll take number 1, please.
Okay, so only police to have guns.
I think people, in New Zealand, even in New Zealand, where they dramatically banned or have very high gun legislation rates, citizens can still have guns. They just have like rifles to shoot for go hunting.
Wow.
As part of their sport, but they don't have handguns for the citizenry, and there's a lot of regulations around who can and can't own a gun.
Well, okay, now I'm gonna put
you. Position.
I know.
Guns means less people.
I'm gonna put you in a corner, though. I'm gonna put you in a corner.
Please.
This is where it gets a little hairy. So what do you say? What do you say to some communities? I'm not gonna say which communities they are, Black, who say
I got it.
that police officers with their guns target Black folks and put a target on their backs and have an intention. Like, what do you say to those communities? Because again, remember, you're telling everybody that the only people you want to have the guns are the people that many communities believe are out to kill them. So what do you say to the Black community when you propose only police has guns? What do you say to them?
Well, I don't think in general the violence perpetrated by law enforcement is a law enforcement officer generally going out of their way to shoot a black person. I think a lot more often than not, it's overzealous, more physical violence, if you will, hand-to-hand violence. That's committed. So I don't think that. Again, I'm a white person. I live in suburbia, so my perspective is by nature invalid. But I think that
no, it's not. No. Not listen to me. You're on with a black man, okay, who is telling you, and I don't care what any one of those rabble-rousers, civil rightsers tell you. You have every right to opine about this subject as anybody else, just because your skin color does not omit you. You're giving an opinion because, look, and I'll tell you this. One thing I can always say about you, Dr. Steve, we've never met, but we've had enough conversations on this program to know you are coming from a genuine place. You have no malice in your heart. You are trying to be honest, and you're trying. No, you have. You have always been that way, and I really respect that about you. You've always been honest and given your honest perspective, and you've never cast an aspersion. You and I don't agree, but you've done it respectfully. I consider you a friend of this show, and I love having you on. So please, don't ever think that you can't opine. It is imperative that you opine on this subject.
Well, thank you very much for that, Reese. In that case, I would say I feel like a young black man on the streets of New Haven should not be worried about getting shot at by law enforcement. And perhaps law enforcement may be less given to shooting if they know that there's fewer guns on the streets. It's a little bit of a cycle, if you will, of less gunfire. If you walk into a knife fight and no one has a gun, no one's going to get shot. It's just you instinctively don't. It's like a nuclear arms race, right? If you know your opponent's got a nuclear, you start taking nuclear weapons. But if your opponents don't have them, then you don't worry about that.
Yeah,
I think it would be the same thing in the inner city. If there's less guns on the streets, there's just less people worried about getting shot at, and less, trigger happy folks. Trigger happy is not the right word, but you get the gist. Pun unintended, but I get it, sir. Yeah. God bless you, Dr. Steve. I love it when you call me, and thank you. Never, ever hesitate. I know you come in sparingly, but when you're here, you put a big smile on my face. And I love when I see your name come up on here, you have no idea how much joy I have when you call up. Really respect you, sir. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Doc. All right, bye. Dr. Steve, ladies and gentlemen, a good call. And again, that's, as I tell people all the time, and you liberals out there, I say it. Dr. Steve is a testament. That guy represents, well, not all of you. That guy's more rational than a lot of you are. But you guys know who you are. You're dying to call in. You're like, he's not going to respect us. Dr. Steve. And he loves this show. Totally disagrees with me regularly. Oh, man, it's so crazy. I'm not going to take any more. We're going to get into some calls later on because I got more stuff to get into as it revolves around this story in Minneapolis. Why? Why is this story still important? Let me run through a couple of ideas for you. One, in my hands, I have the scariest part of this story, and that is the similarities between the Coventry shooting and the one at the Annunciation School. This list is glaring. Another part of this on that it's so, I tell you guys all the time, I believe in God and there's no such thing as coincidences. Why is it that both of these transgender shooters have a problem with black folks? They are liberals through and through. When you get the makeup of these individuals, when you go through their manifesto and what is the thing that what's the term I'm looking for? That aggrieves them, that makes them angry, that puts them in this tailspin, if you will. Both of these individuals, as did the shooter at Tops in Buffalo, they have this problem with black folks. And it's really interesting that they do. I'm going to give you an idea. I want you to think about it. We always say, those of us who are conservative blacks, they say African Americans are as conservative as they get, but they still keep voting Democrat. I don't get it. Do they not know that liberals hate them? Do they not know that liberals only want them to live a particular potential? They never want them to actually ascend and be self-sufficient. They need them as a permanent underclass because they get to use their race and their poverty and the criminal justice system as the means to keep themselves elected. They need them there. They can't have all of them ascending. What are they? They're no use to them then. And then you listen to these shooters talk about black folks. The top shooter in Buffalo said that black folks didn't care enough about global warming with their SUVs and their gas-guzzling cars. Yes, you brothers are riding around in Cadillacs and Escalades. That offends the tree huggers. You didn't know that? Yeah, it happens. And these two individuals, the one at Coventry, was upset because black folks wouldn't accept them, even though they had done everything they could to care about their causes. Oh, and the shooter yesterday, hated the black community.
Let her roll.
It's sad. We got to take a break. News is coming up with Dave Mager, plus your phone calls, maybe in a little bit when we return. Let's get to the WTIC newsroom with Dave Mager. It's Reese on the Radio.
WTIC is celebrating 100 years on the air and 100 years of serving Connecticut. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
75 degrees, 3 o'clock. I'm Dave Mager, WTIC 1080 News. High in the upper 70s and sunny this afternoon, low around 60 tonight. Some police departments around the state increasing patrols around schools. That's after yesterday's deadly shooting at a Catholic school and church in Minneapolis. 2 children were killed, 18 injured. The shooter was a former student there. The specific motive, unknown.
The police now shifting their investigation into the writings from what seems like the shooter's journal. That includes sketches of a church and rows of pews. Police say the shooter appears to have timed a YouTube video to post yesterday. It's under review by the FBI.
CBS's Scott McFarland. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry says this is absolutely the time to talk about gun control.
Red flag laws are important, but they don't go far enough. Assault weapons bans. I mean, right now, we have more guns in America than we have people. That's a problem.
Polls show most Americans support the assault weapons ban and universal background checks. There's a full-on revolt at the Centers for Disease Control. It's against the anti-vaccine Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. He tried to fire the new CDC director, Susan Monterez, but her attorneys say Kennedy lacks the authority to do so. Other high-ranking CDC officials have resigned in support. CBS News medical contributor Dr. Celine Gounder.
You have 25% of the staff that's been fired. It's the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. A number of the directors of the various individual centers have also been pushed out. And then 3 additional center directors resigned yesterday.
Democratic Senator Patty Murray of Washington is calling for the firing of Kennedy. Fed Governor Lisa Cook is suing President Trump over his effort to fire her. No other president has sought to fire a Fed governor. CBS News legal analyst Lori Levinson.
The Federal Reserve Board is supposed to be independent, but Trump has come after Lisa Cook, saying that somehow there's cause because there are allegations, vague allegations, unsubstantiated allegations that she had engaged in private mortgage fraud.
State Treasurer Eric Russell is warning about price increases. Tomorrow, on a White House order, the tariffs exemption for imported goods under $800 expires. Russell says that will mean higher prices of 10 to 50% on those goods for Connecticut companies and consumers.
It is the passing on of cost. It is these taxes that are going to be passed on through goods. It is inflationary policy that is particularly impacting working families and small businesses.
Wallingford police say an officer suffered a broken leg when he was attacked at a go-kart racing site last night. The call came in from on-track carting for an intoxicated man harassing staff and employees. Police say 28-year-old Tevin Robles became physical, injuring the officer. He later kicked out the window frame of a cruiser. He's being held on a $150,000 bond with a court date set for mid-September. Torrington police investigating a motorcycle crash that seriously injured a biker. WTIC's Morgan Cunningham reports.
It was just about 7:15 this morning when police responded to a motorcycle crash involving a Mack granite truck carrying garbage. What's known from the investigation so far is that truck had turned south onto South Main Street from Vista Drive, causing the motorcycle to veer left and go off the roadway. The motorcyclist, identified as 30-year-old Edgar Gonzalez of Torrington, was found seriously injured. Police say he was wearing a helmet. Lifestar ended up flying Gonzalez to Hartford Hospital, where he's receiving care for injuries, the extent of them unknown. The operator of the truck is cooperating with investigators. Morgan Cunningham, WTIC 1080 News.
And Donald Trump's takeover of the Kennedy Center now includes changes to the long-standing design of the medals awarded to honorees.
James Paturn and his family have been making the medals that have been handed out to Kennedy Center honorees since 1978.
They're iconic.
The gold-plated medallions attached to rainbow ribbon necklaces have been worn around the necks of some of the nation's most treasured artists. But now President Trump says they're going in a different direction, and Tiffany & Company will be redesigning them.
Hard to believe after 47 years.
His son calls the decision silly.
You don't see people redesigning the Oscars or the Golden Globes. It's what it should be. It's what it will be. It's what it was designed to be.
Stacey Lynn, CBS News, Washington.
On Wall Street, the Dow up 63 points, S&P climbing 22.
What's up, Ali? Welcome back. Thanks for hanging out, man.
WTIC forecast.
The rest of this afternoon, partly sunny and pleasant with a high 77. Clouds will be on the increase tonight with a low of 58. Then mostly cloudy tomorrow, a couple of showers and a thunderstorm into the early afternoon hours. Gusty winds and small hail can accompany any thunderstorm and a high of 75. Turning out clear tomorrow night, low 53. A pleasant day on Saturday with sun and some clouds and a high 76. This is meteorologist Scott Homan in the WTIC Weather Center.
75 and sunny now. Sports, Red Sox going for the 4-game sweep in Baltimore. They're tied at 2 in the 8th inning. The game is live on AM 1080. Yankees at the White Sox. Mets host Miami. Yard Goats home against Portland. For more, check out WTIC.com. I'm Dave Maker. WTIC 1080 News.
Most of us like to be out in the sun. That's why sunscreen and other safety measures are key to protecting your skin from aging and cancer. The FDA recommends using a sunscreen with a sun protection factor, or SPF, of 15 or higher. Also, look for broad spectrum on the label. That means both harmful ultraviolet A and B rays are blocked.
I know you're checking out this
UVA
show.
rays age the skin. UVB rays burn. And both cause cancer. But the perfect sunscreen doesn't count if you use it wrong. Don't need sunscreen on a cloudy day? Wrong. 80% of UV rays still get through the haze. Only use sunscreen at the beach? Nope. Anytime you're outside, UV rays attack the skin, so you need protection. And you have to reapply sunscreen every 2 hours. Remember, SPF plus broad spectrum equal healthy
How
fun
much
in
time
the
we got?
sun. Visit www.fda.gov/sunscreen for more information. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
Do you know of 1 minute? After leaving the military, many veterans struggle to find their way home. Because to a veteran, home isn't just a place, it's an idea, a feeling. Nation's Finest understands the challenges veterans face. Through the VA's Supportive Services for Veteran Families program, we help veterans and their families struggling with rent, employment, and other housing-related costs. Today, Nation's Finest operates more than 30 locations in California, Arizona, and Nevada. For more than 50 years, we've helped thousands of veterans in these communities build happy, healthy, and purposeful lives. And our team is committed to supporting those who've served and their families for another 50. To get help, visit nationsfinest.org or call 1-833-468-9676. That's 1-833-468-9676. 9676.
It's Reese on the radio. Ask your doctor if common sense is right for you. On News Talk 1080 WTIC.
For Pete's sakes, Red Sox, get it together. For the love of Pete. Okay, now it's 3-2. Okay, can we maintain the lead, Sox? You're playing the bums, Orioles. They're bums. They're bums. And be careful, you're playing in Baltimore. They will mug you. Every public bathroom in Baltimore is locked with a keypad. Did you know that? It's a hellscape. All of it is. I'm not kidding. I am not kidding. To go to a public bathroom anywhere in Baltimore, you got to put a keypad in there because it's been overrun by the homeless. Wes Moore running for president. Can't wait. Anyway, more news, more views. You can shake stick at. We'll get into all that in a second. I'll get to Mark in West Hartford. He was the one who alerted me to this story about the school police presence now that everyone is. By the way, if Rutowski's out there, I know he's somewhere. I need to ask what's going on in that area. Let's go to a couple of phone calls. Sally D is in New Hampshire. Hello, Sally.
How you doing, Reese? Long time no hear,
long time. What's up, buddy?
So let me just pose a scenario, and you tell me if you think that this is the case as well. The thing that's so disturbing about this and everything that's happening is that I don't think you can take this incident and put it in a box,
right?
And just say we have a problem with the trans community. The issue is, and it's such a larger issue that I don't think you can combat, which is they're hitting you at every turn when it comes to anything that's a core value or anything that's conservative or they're trying to attack the country from within at all angles.
Mm-hmm.
The same reason you couldn't pick off some nut job on a roof when Trump was in Pennsylvania is the same reason this thing just happens. And it's going to continue to happen. You can't cover all the schools. You can't cover all the churches. And so you destroy the country by creating these Manchurian drones that just at some point go off. But I don't think it's random. I really don't.
You think that there is really an effort to root out, right, with this constant theme, this zeitgeist going on within liberalism, that will eventually, and you're sort of calling it Manchurian by constantly promoting that theme through major news organizations, be it television, legacy news, be it television, print, or what have you. And eventually what it does is gin up that lunatic, if you will, and I'm using that term loosely, to be the one to go out and say, I'm going to be the person to avenge this mayhem that I'm seeing every day in the news. James Hodgkinson is a perfect example. What was he motivated by? Rachel Maddow and Bernie Sanders' constant theme of Republicans are killing people. This person becomes the one, I will avenge them. You're sort of using that term, right? I mean, that's long and short. Right.
You say hate so many times. You call somebody Hitler so many times. You build this false narrative that is so powerful to these people who are weak-minded that when their walls come closing down, the only thing they can do is go out and lash out.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
And then the news media works as a political arm of said group that, again, operates, with their interests and then divert us to other things, right? It becomes the gun control issue as opposed to the individual who plotted this and actually, executed it instead of those things.
Right. Look at this immigration issue, all these cartel members, right? And they're trying to spin it like it's, we hate migrants.
Yeah.
All part of a greater scheme. And it actually is happening, I don't want to use the war, the Civil War term. It's a dangerous term.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a different kind of thing, but it's tearing the country up from within, and I don't know what you do to stop it other than to meet it head on like they're doing.
I would say the best way, Sally D, to combat it is to consistently and I would say repetitively repeat the truth. I'm going to take you back to something I always mention in this story. Because Sally D's been a supporter of Reese on the Radio for a lot of years. I want to say maybe even, 15, 20 years now. 20, yeah. 20. So Sally D knows me very well, but I've expressed this before. I always harken back to that 60 Minutes episode that I can't find anywhere, and if anyone can find it, please send it to me. But it was one of the Black Ops guys was talking about the waterboarding of Khalid Sheikh Mohammed. And he was talking about his exchanges with Khalid. And Khalid Sheikh Mohammed kept saying to the Black Ops guy, that your liberal media is going to, in essence, if not challenge you, admonish you, right? They are going to criticize you and blame you for the things that you are doing to me. Khalid Sheikh Mohammed was saying, as the architect of 9/11, that your own people are going to turn against you and side with him over cruelty. Which to me said, and I talk about this all the time because I say, people go, well, I don't know what that means, Reese. Let me break it down. Deep down, what they are doing is, and guys like this are doing, are going after the compassionate wing of our country and excusing the behavior of guys like Khalid Sheikh Mohammed and looking at us as the people who wish to thwart it as the bad guys. That we should accept what they've done because they were oppressed. Not too long ago, and you guys remember this, last summer, if not the summer before, we had a TikTok phenomenon where kids were online reading Osama bin Laden's letter to America and agreeing with it. So here's a guy who is, remember, and these are the same people who were, when he was killed, under Barack Obama's watch, who were shouting at midnight in Times Square. Now those same people are sitting back going, oh, maybe he was right.
I'm going to say one thing, and I'm going to let you go. I can't believe you touched on this, because what I'm going to say ties directly to what you just said. Mm-hmm. So here's what I'm going to say, and I'm going to say it very carefully. If I told you that ticks were a bioweapon, you'd be like, oh, look at this, listen to this conspiracy theorist.
Right.
But if you actually go look it up, our CIA used ticks and created Lyme disease and dumped it on a populace to see what would happen. That's out there. So I'll say this. They've been manipulating governments and people forever.
That's right.
You mentioned Khalid Sheikh Mohammed and the mastermind of 9/11. I propose to say the mastermind of 9/11 is not yet defined. And it's all tying into this chaos because there's a global agenda. If we succeed in taking back our country, there's an agenda that's been working for years to try and, raise its head.
Oh, I think I think, to be honest with you, Sal, what is trying to be done today, now that the powers that be are in the hands of the opposition to this idea, I believe that it doesn't quell their attempts. I only think it emboldens them. I think because they know they thought they had it, like they were coasting for a long time. And now that there has been an opposition to that, which is now either the MAGA movement or the new conservatism, that now they are emboldened to do far more and far more and far greater. Which is why we can sit up here, and I tell people all the time, we got to stop sitting around thinking that there was a victory won and we could relax. The war has just begun, and I mean that figuratively and ideologically.
Absolutely. We're always same point, man. Great talking with you, brother.
Always a pleasure, Sally D. Love you, man. Yeah, it's just the truth. And again, I'm going to get to this point when we get back on when we get back to regular airwaves, because I want everybody to be able to hear this. And I'm checking right now. We're at the bottom of the 8th inning. It is Boston Red Sox 3 to Orioles 2, and we'll be back there soon. I'm hoping that before we get to the 4 o'clock. So I'm saving all of this good stuff that I have when we do. Let's get to Mark in West Hartford before we go to a break. How we doing, boss?
Hey, I'm doing good. Before we get to the SROs, I got to ask you, what was the media outlet you utilized to grab the soundbite from Mayor Arunan, Ralam, who's saying he'd like to, I
do it all the time. WFSB carried his words live. And after, and they went, that was live online. So I'm on my Facebook page, and I'll get a WFSB alert when something's going on. And it said WFSB was live, and I saw, Mayor Arunin, and I couldn't tell what he was talking about. Then I saw the chyron about the Connecticut Sun. So I just started listening to it.
So we'll reach out to their newsroom. What I want everybody to remember is while he's proposing this, and a whole bunch of stupid liberal Democrats are probably like, yeah, they should stay in Hartford. We are on the hook for that Dunkin' Donut Park for decades. We lose since, and listen, we have record attendance in that league. Hartford leads in attendance year after year since it opened, and they still lose between 3 and 4 million a year, and they're going to continue to lose between 3-4 million a year with it being the highest attendance in that league. So I want everybody, listen, I told you about the OTB they built. This guy, and nobody questions, that's why I'm asking. I'm going to call FSB. I'm going to say, you guys don't bring up the stuff they've done already. They're renovating the Civic Center. That's going to be a bust. I will tell you that way ahead.
Wait a minute, hold on. The Civic Center isn't 20 years old. What do you mean they're renovating it?
Oh, no. The XL Center.
The XL Center. Okay, yeah. The People's Bank. People's Bank Arena. Yeah.
So they're putting these bunker, instead of skyboxes where you're way up high, they're going to have like these little, I don't know what they're calling, bunker suites down below. Listen, nobody's going to go there unless you get a big act and only a few a year. That place is going to be empty. But what I'm saying is, how could they not question him on Dunkin' Donut Park?
Because you know what?
Failure.
Don't you know why?
He's saying he wants us to be on the hook for a basketball team now.
Okay, now the reason for that, and again, this is not making an excuse for them. Remember, what everybody is on board with, and I think I can speak for everybody here. The objective is they need to give Mayor Arunin a platform because everybody wants them to stay. They definitely want Hartford to not lose another major. That's the agenda. They're not going to talk about that other stuff when they need to keep the Connecticut Sun in Hartford.
So we don't bring up the money?
We can't.
It's
you
all
can't.
About the money.
But Mark,
Who's
you know that they
this?
can't. Listen, they can't because it is a one page. That's the objective is, because look, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't help WFSB to challenge him on all that other stuff when, again, the one thing, the one train of thought, as it were, is to keep the Connecticut Sun. So everybody's on board. Now, I'm not saying it's a good thing. Hold on. I'm not saying it's a good thing. But that you got to understand, pick your poison at that point.
But do you see what they're doing with this mayor? Have you ever seen anybody question him yet?
No, that was my whole point.
He provides sound bites unquestioned, and I'm done. I'm sick of it. Whether it's TIC or FSB or the Hartford Current.
You are on. Listen, you and I are on the same page. That's why I did my opening monologue to say why.
So real quick about the SROs, I got a message in. They're not going to get back to me.
Okay.
But I figured, what a great time. I reach out to Murphy's office. They never get back to you. But I'm there like, what's his position today as they've increased police presence in Connecticut schools?
Yeah.
I'm doing that with my own Board of Ed member, LaToya Fernandez here in West Hartford. She single-handedly got rid of SROs in San Jose.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
All these Democrats who want SROs out, talk about not getting sound bites. Where is the media to go, talk to the Dems now in Connecticut?
I don't get it.
Hey,
I do.
It's a great story.
I don't get it now. The fact that it's so crazy that we have been talking about police officers at schools all this time before a tragedy takes place, and then the tragedy takes place. And by the way, they pretty much told all of us to go pound sand on the subject. They all told us that.
Yeah, where's Bob Duff? Where's Martin Looney? Let's get some sound bites from them. But can I just leave you with, I hope I get enough time. I want to tell you how dangerous, and I think you need to have James talk about Hartford. It's the capital city.
Yeah.
Right? They got rid of their SROs, I believe it was 9 years ago.
Yep.
Luke Bronin spearheaded the project. And let me tell you, it wasn't Luke Bronin by himself. It was others. And they all have blood on their hands. Because let me tell you, 3 years ago, there was a 13-year-old that brought fentanyl that he found in his apartment.
I do remember that.
Don't know. Okay, the kid died. 2 other kids got sick. This kid died. The one thing, and I'm taking credit for this. There's not a lot of times where I'll do that, and it's not my ego, but I made such a big deal that they didn't have Narcan in the schools in Hartford. Now, I have them in West Hartford years before Hartford just enacted it. It took them only months because I made such a big deal. I said, there was no Narcan to give the kid. Guess who carries Narcan? SROs.
Yeah.
If there was a police officer that they didn't kick out 9 years ago, Luke Bronin and the other leaders in Hartford, that kid might be alive.
Exactly.
We'll never know.
And
They had to wait. And how I know that? Because my firefighter buddies had to go, I'm long retired. I talked to them. That disturbed them. They had to show up. They couldn't save them.
Yeah, the interesting thing is like what's the whole SRO nonsense going on with these libs? And the thing that it's the unholy alliance to these civil rights organizations that say that the police presence there is some sort of affront to black kids in the school. And again, the fact that anybody would echo that sentiment shows exactly how out of touch they are. Those police officers are a part of the community, and they should be embraced as such.
So did you see what I posted yesterday? Please go on Mark from West Hartford. Yesterday, just to show you, Chris Murphy and others will always tell you it's the optics of the cops, right?
Yep.
It's kind of telling kids to look bad. There's 120 school, they call them safety officers.
Mm-hmm.
Go on my page and look at what they look like. They got badges on their shirts. They wear tool belts with flashlights, radio strapped over their shoulder. They look like cops. You can't. The only thing missing is a gun.
Yeah,
which I wish they had.
It's.
Because guess what? If a shooter goes in there, what are they going to do? Throw a radio at him? Anyway, thanks for letting me have all that time.
You got it, boss man. I appreciate you. I saw that picture too. I'm sorry. Maybe their uniforms look like cops, Mark, but those guys didn't look like cops at all. Those guys look like rent-a-cops. They look like, observe and report, which is technically what they're there to do. Bob in the chat room said...
Who was that? Friday? No, Friday after next.
Yeah. But
mall cops.
Yeah, mall cops. What was it? Okay, sorry, Bob. Bob wrote, he says, the agenda has been bringing the truth to Americans, I don't know. Some are in opposition to a truthful narrative because it diminishes their ability to claim moral high ground and the American superiority. We are a great country, but our history is our history. Our strength should enable us to tell the truth about our weaknesses and strengths. Who wants to go back to a less transparent society? If I'm hearing you correctly, Bob, that's exactly what we're talking about, is that we want to be a more transparent society where we actually tell the American people what's going on inside the government that serves us. I don't know what that's about. It's like you have to have a constituents that trust you with what's going on. In the next half hour, I'm going to go into the headlines, which I didn't go into yesterday. I got a stupidest thing that I've read today that I know a lot of people have heard about, but I got to get this out of the way now I'm sitting with it. If you don't know who the two shooters were by name, and usually I don't, but today I have to because I need to give a comparison that's very important to this subject. And I'm looking now at the Red Sox game, and we have got the top of the ninth. We have 3 outs. Looks like that just happened. So we're about to go to the bottom of the ninth. It looks like the game is almost over. So we could very well be back on regular air in a couple of minutes. So stand by with that. So I want you to take into consideration a couple of names. The 2 names are Audrey Hale and Robert Westman. Audrey Hale is the shooter at the Coventry School in 2023, and Robert Westman is the shooter from yesterday. Now, I did a comprehensive search, a breakdown, if you will, of the similarities between both shooters. Why is this important? Both shooters consider themselves transgender. They have changed their names. And they both shot up Catholic and or Christian institutions that they've attended. The interesting scope here to have is that one shooter was born a girl, still remains a girl, but I'm using it just for context reasons, was born a girl, and the other was born a boy. Both identify as transgender, and again, both shot up a Christian or Catholic institution they attended. And they are under the same zeitgeist of transgenderism. And what I'm about to read in a little bit are the similarities written in their manifestos. These two individuals, from what we know, have never communicated with one another. They have only seen probably the same talking points of their communities. And they both set out to kill children. When I tell you that the list is considerable, I am looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 things that compare the two. 7. And I have that list here. What is really interesting is that every one of these things break down to liberal ideology that we've seen in the public. Going back to Big Sal's point about ginning up one of these guys to come out and commit an act like this. It's a very, very interesting study, but we'll get to them in a little bit. The game should be over shortly, so stand by. We just got 2 strikes on the first batter. By the time we come back from the break, we should be into this. So stand by. We got bottom of the hour news with Dave Mager right here on WTIC News Talk 1080.
And now, a WTIC news update.
75 degrees at 3:30. I'm Dave Mager, WTIC 1080 News. High in the upper 70s and sunny this afternoon, low around 60 tonight. The acting U.S. attorney in Minnesota now says, based on writings acquired by investigators, the Minneapolis school shooter hated everyone except other school shooters. He killed 2 children and injured 15 other kids. And acting U.S. Attorney Joe Thompson says that's what he was trying to do.
More than anything, the shooter wanted to kill children, defenseless children. The shooter was obsessed with the idea of killing children. The shooter saw the attack as a way to target our most vulnerable.
The 15 injured children are between 5 and 15 years old. A 12-year-old girl is in critical condition at the same hospital where her mother works. 3 others, all in their 80s, were also hurt. There's a Ford recall of 500,000 SUVs.
This recall focuses on a hose that can rupture on Ford Edges and Lincoln MKXs from the 2015 to 18 model years. Ford says no crashes have been linked to the issue. Ford, meanwhile, issuing unrelated recalls involving faulty taillights in 213,000 vehicles and airbag issues in 100,000 other vehicles.
CBS's Jeff Gilbert reporting. On Wall Street, the Dow up 70 points, S&P climbing 22, the NASDAQ is up 124. And we check the WTIC forecast.
The remainder of this afternoon, partly sunny and pleasant with a high 77. Increasing clouds tonight with a low of 58. Then a lot of clouds tomorrow, a couple of showers and a thunderstorm into the early afternoon. Then gusty winds and small hail can accompany any thunderstorm with a high of 75. Clear tomorrow night, low 53. Then partly sunny and pleasant on Saturday with a high of 76. This is meteorologist Scott Homan in the WTIC Weather Center.
75 right now. Sports live on AM 1080. Red Sox lead Baltimore 3-2, bottom of the 9th. Boston looking for the sweep there. The Yankees at the White Sox. The Mets host Miami. The Yard Goats homestand continues against Portland. For more, check out WTIC.com. I'm Dave Maker, WTIC 1080 News.
Do you know a veteran in need? After leaving the military, many veterans struggle to find their way home. Because to a veteran, Home isn't just a place, it's an idea, a feeling. Nation's Finest understands the challenges veterans face. Through the VA's Supportive Services for Veteran Families program, we help veterans and their families struggling with rent, employment, and other housing-related costs. Today, Nation's Finest operates more than 30 locations in California, Arizona, and Nevada. For more than 50 years, we've helped thousands of veterans in these communities build happy, healthy, and purposeful lives. And our team is committed to supporting those who've served and their families for another 50. To get help, visit nationsfinest.org or call 1-833-468-9676. That's 1-833-468-9676.
This is McGruff the Crime Dog, and I need you to help me take a bite out of crime. Another teenager, victim to fake pills bought from social media. This doesn't seem like a drug deal, but it definitely is. Should buying
Hey, give me a couple minutes to switch everything.
fake pills contain fentanyl
What'd
and
you
an
say?
amount small enough to...
Give me a couple minutes to switch everything over.
So listen.
Game just ended.
Pills from social media? Think again. Learn more at mcgruffpsa.org and go for real. Brought to you by USPTO and the National Crime Prevention Council.
Yes! I finally got my first phone!
It is
This is the Nissan post-game show. Sun's out, deals up at the Nissan end of summer sales event.
Red Sox win it 3-2 in Baltimore. They take 7 of 8 on this road trip, and just phenomenal stuff. Rob Refsnyder, a big part of the win today, and he joins us. This thing it looks easier and easier for you, Rob. You're gone for so long with the oblique strain. You come back and just working quality at bat after quality at bat. A hit, a huge solo homer to straightaway center. Must have been fun. Hard to, I'm sure, watch from afar as this team surged, but great to be back in there, I'd imagine.
Yeah, it's tough. You want to be in there and just trying to help the team win, but the guys have been doing such a great job, and I've had it's got a lot of credit to their training staff, first off. I mean, they've been working really, really hard for me, the strength staff. Mary Ellen just, get me foods and supplements to help me out. So it's, you guys know how it is. There's just so many people behind the scenes that really, really help, and they were able to get me back really, really fast, and so a lot of credit goes to them.
A lot of people behind the scenes, Ref, a lot of people in the forefront. Talk to me about Trevor's story. I mean, the run this team is on right now, and Trevor, the way he's been swinging the bat, and then 2 huge defensive plays today to help win this game. Yeah, he's just, he's our captain. He's been here as long as I have, so I definitely look up to him and just the way he prepares and goes about his work and how he's battled back through those injuries. But he's such a dynamic player. I mean, all three.
Check.
Defense and hitting. He's
I'm good.
He's a special.
All right, switch your phone back.
Already did. We're all just.
All right, let's see where it puts us. I don't know where it's going to put us. It could be on a commercial. It could be directly on you. So here we go.
Okay, I'm ready.
Special guy.
You did something that's hard to do today, Rob, and that is make me look smart. We were talking about how...
You've been listening to Red Sox Baseball on WTIC News Talk 1080. We now join our regularly scheduled program.
All right, it looks like we're back. All right, no commercial. That's fine. Reese on the radio right here live on WTIC News Talk 1080. Congratulations to the Red Sox again. Winners over 500. Damn you, Yankees. All right, let's just get into it. Let's get into some news real quick, and then we'll get into some other stuff. All right, also in the headlines, looks like Democrat Jillian Gilchrist of West Hartford formally launched a campaign for Connecticut's 1st District. That was on Tuesday, joining a field of Democratic candidates who are looking to unseat 14-term incumbent John Larson. Gilchrist, who's 43 years old, who unseated the incumbent member of her party in 2018. When she joined the Connecticut Assembly, has expected to announce her candidacy for U.S. House seat for weeks, and several others. This lets you know that the old guard, the new guard's gunning for her. And we got Luke Bronin, former Hartford mayor, who's in the mix, and now we have Gilchrist, who's now trying to unseat Larson. So we'll see how that turns out. It should be an interesting race. Old folks versus the young folks. Also in the news, during a marathon 3-hour cabinet meeting, Many of you watched it, but you probably didn't watch all of it. The media managed to ignore one little breaking news story item from the president. It was some information that he received from Tulsi Gabbard. And if you have listened to Reese on the Radio long enough, you probably knew that I was on this story way before it was mentioned by Tulsi Gabbard. And that had to do with the 2020 election.
You've also found many bags of information. I think they call them burn bags. They're supposed to be burned and they didn't get burned, having to do with how corrupt the 2020 election was. And when will that all come out?
Mr. President, I will be the first to brief you once we have that information collected. But you're right, we are finding documents literally tucked away in the back of safes in random offices in these bags and in other areas, which again speaks to the intent of those who are trying to hide the truth from the American people and trying to cover up the politicization that was led by people like John Brennan and James Clapper and others that have caused really immeasurable harm to the American people and to our country.
Yeah, so look out for those in the coming week. I'm expecting them to be incredibly explosive. Now, for our stupidest thing I read today.
Yes, you do. Stupid as can be. This could very well be the stupidest person on the face of the earth.
By far the most beautiful first lady since Jackie O. Some people have even some problems saying that. Folks at Vanity Fair are threatening to walk out of their jobs if they dare put Melania Trump on the cover. One person says that I will walk out the mother bleeping door and half my staff will follow me, according to one editor who said it to the New York Post. Another editor doubled down, telling the Post, we are not going to normalize this despot and his wife. We're not going to do it. We're going to stand for what's right. But not everybody at Vanity Fair is buying the threats. They're saying that it's nothing more than performative. Said it's all talk. One employee said, if they put her on the cover, people will protest and gripe about it, but I don't see anyone quitting such a prestigious job over that. The reason why I say it's the stupidest thing I read today, nobody cares if Melania's on the cover of Vanity Fair. No one even reads print magazines anymore. Like, people get them and they sit on their coffee table. And if they do sit on somebody's coffee table, that individual is in their 70s at best. Nothing against my 70-year-old ladies. I love you. You know I do. But that stuff you put out there, it's kind of like table decoration, isn't it now? Do people still do that? When I got my apartment in the Bronx, it was one of my first apartments. I put magazines out on the coffee table because it looked like a doctor's office. I was like, I don't even know why I put them there. I thought that was what you're supposed to do. I learned that from my grandmother. I also watched All My Children a lot, too, in my adulthood. I don't want to say any names, but a certain news guy likes The Young and Restless. I'm not going to say any names. But he's been watching it for years. I was actually shocked. I was like, hey, why you got this stuff on? He was like, I've been watching that for over 30 years. I'm like, The Young and Restless? He's like, yeah. I don't want to out him. I thought it was cool. I was like, okay. Just start watching when you're 16. You don't give up. Some people's got things. They got things that they like. They just do. Let me go to Matty O and Tom real quick. Let's go to Matty O first. How are you, sir?
Hello. How you doing?
I'm pretty good. What's up, sir?
I'm sorry, Mr. Hopkins. You caught me off guard because, it was blank for a while.
What do you got?
So, I wish he took more after he got on regular because he's way more interesting than me. But I was just calling to say I don't normally call about school shootings. But the one thing I would say is, like the other guy was saying with the red flag laws.
Yeah.
I think those are a good idea, but I think there has to be a difference in the HIPAA laws on top of the red flag laws. Because the way the HIPAA laws are designed, if say there was an underage person that went to a psychologist or a psychiatrist and the parents are worried about him, they can't really say anything. But if you add those two together, you might have an actual deterrent to these type of things.
Well, I would say, I look at it in this way. So we have a parent in this case who in 2019 changed their son's name from Robert to Robin. This was probably a mother who is just like a lot of these Hollywood mother types who now treat their children like an Hermes bag when they find out that their kids are transgender. I've got a transgender child. And, you know, again, changed their name because they couldn't do it on their own. She is trying to give that child gender-affirming care by getting their name changed. And with all of that, thought that that was it, that there was nothing else that they needed to do in order to assure their child was living a productive life. They did nothing else.
That's kind of my point, is the psychiatrist might have known or seen other warning signs, but they cannot say anything because of the HIPAA laws.
Very true.
When you add that to the red flag laws, then you might have an actual first warning sign.
Okay, I get your point. Yeah, you're right. You could. It's quite possible. I have, like I said, in this case, I'll look at it this way. Can I play this audio for you? Let's contrast the two last presidents, Joseph R. Biden, Donald J. Trump.
The idea that an 8-year-old child or a 10-year-old child decides, I decided I want to be transgender. That's what I think I'd like to be. It'll make my life a lot easier. There is no reason to suggest that there should be any right denied your daughter or daughters, whichever, if one or two.
Criminalizing sex changes on children and forever ending the lie that any child is trapped in the wrong body. This is a big lie. And our message to every child in America is that you are perfect exactly the way God made you.
Now, I don't know what could be more affirming than what Donald Trump said right there, is that you are perfect the way that God made you. What an affirming comment to make to your child.
And again, I'm not going to argue that fact.
Right.
I'm just saying that there are other warning signs other than that that might bring light to someone that could be dangerous if the HIPAA laws were different. So sometimes it might just be a transgender. Sometimes it might be something deeper and this, so
you're not going to be able to look.
We change that.
Matt, you're not going to be able to. We're not going to be able to farm. Like we're not going to be able to find them all. You know what I mean? We're not going to be able to. Some of them are going to be okay, and others are not going to be so okay. But what I believe is that if it's true that it's turning out that these folks are becoming more and more violent because they feel either oppressed or put upon, then what we need to do is we need to protect the soft target that they seem to be going after. But I'm going to get into that in a second. Thank you, boss man. I always appreciate you. Let me read you the comparisons. And again, as I said, this is a case where we have to go after who they're going after. Do you understand that?
Yeah, that was coming in real hot, too, by the way.
Oh, was it? Okay, I'm sorry about that. I knew it was. I was trying to turn it down. Thank you. Let me go through the similarities between the two individuals. And this is Audrey Hale and Robert Westman. Hatred towards Christianity and religious institutions. Both shooters expressed disdain for Christianity, targeting Christian schools and institutions. Audrey Hale, Covenant School, as a symbol of conservative Christian values. Westman, Annunciation Catholic School, with anti-religious phrases and the desecration of Christian imagery. Resentment towards society and the world and life. Both harbored broad nihilistic, antagonistic views towards society and existence. Audrey Hale, feeling at war with society and America for ignoring her. Westman, hatred for life and the corrupting world, leading to desire for destruction. Racial and ethnic resentment. Elements of racial hatred appear in both through manifested differently. Hale, resentment towards white privilege and her own white race. Westman's racism against racial minorities, including anti-Semitism and white supremacy ideologies. Hatred towards politicians. Both included disdain for political figures. Hale said their hatred for S-headed politicians in America. Westman specifically calls to kill the President of the United States, the current one, and broader political resentment, targeting children and innocents. Both focused on harming children as symbols of vulnerability or privilege. Hale called privileged white children at private schools. Westman fantasized about slaughtering powerless children and innocents with ironic phrases like "for the children." Self-hatred and personal struggles. Both lists include self-loathing tied to mental health and identity issues. Hale's hatred for her female gender and her body, plus autism, OCD. Westman, self-hatred, despair, and references to depression and autism. Influence on broader societal and ideological frustrations. Both drew from feelings of isolations, obsessions with violence, and notoriety, with references to other societal groups. Hale, black culture. Hale thought that she was ignored by black culture, even though she cared so much about them. Westman had historical hatreds for Jews and anti-Semitism. Considered homosexuals the F word, or referred to them as such. Those are all the similarities, but it goes deeper. We'll talk about those in a second, so stand by. More news, more views that you can shake a stick at. I'll play you some audio sound bites you need to hear when we return. Go nowhere. It's Reese on the Radio on WTIC NewsTalk 1080.
Suicide is something that affects all of us, and we can all play a part in saving lives. Make a difference in your community by walking out of the darkness with us on Saturday, September 27th at Bushnell Park in Hartford. Help spread awareness and understanding. Send the message that help is available and raise funds for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Register today at afsp.org/CT Capital Area, and then we'll see you in Bushnell Park September 27th. WTIC News Talk 1080 is proud partner of the American Federation for Suicide Prevention Out of the Darkness Walk. Well, vacation is over, school is back in session, and WTIC News Talk 1080 is part of your daily routine with news, weather, and traffic updates, plus talk shows to keep you informed and entertained. It's back to the grind, but we'll help you get through it. WTIC News Talk 1080, always on your radio and on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, and TuneIn apps.
I can't get the signal.
Okay, seriously. Now there's absolutely no excuse not to listen to WTIC News Talk 1080. You can literally hear us anywhere when you listen on your smartphone. And now you can hear us on the Odyssey app, the iHeartRadio app, and the TuneIn app. So pick your favorite and search and follow WTIC News Talk 1080 in the app. Then listen wherever you are. It's really that easy. So no more,
I can't get the signal.
We've made it easy. WTIC News Talk 1080 on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, and TuneIn apps.
Everybody, let's go, let's go.
1 minute.
Welcome everyone to West High School Spring Fling. Hey, where we at,
All right, I've gone through all the tracks. Just move through the beats. Do your thing.
All right, everyone, let's hear it for West High's own Brooke Turner, a.k.a. DJ Hook.
Scratching at my first school dance takes confidence. So getting into college, I've got what it takes. Okay, I went through the practice sessions, I slept good, I feel good.
We will now begin the test. Please take out your pencils.
I got this.
We're all good at something. Maybe it's breakdancing or skateboarding or video games. Whatever you're good at, you had the skills to make it happen. And those same skills will help us get to college. Visit knowhowtogo.org to learn what you should be doing right now to prepare for college. The steps at knowhowtogo.org.
I've got what it takes. So do you.
Brought to you by the American Council on Education, Lumina Foundation, and the Ad Council.
It's Reese on the Radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Yeah, we're back. We got more news and more views. We've got Hollywood news coming up. We've got APOC, American Israel Public Affairs Committee. We've got to talk about that a little bit as well. Stand by for that. And between rounds, we got the winner of between rounds, dozen bagels a month. We're talking about this shooting in Minneapolis. And this was Andrew McCabe on CNN talking about the shooting yesterday.
This one is really remarkable to me in that respect. I was looking at, I haven't seen the manifesto, so I can't say whether there are specific references to the 2023 Covenant School shooter in Nashville. But if you look at that situation and this one, there are remarkable similarities. So both were in their 20s, both targeted religious schools that they formerly attended. Both brought 3 weapons to the crime, both purchased those weapons legally, both drove to the attack site and left a vehicle there. Both posted manifestos in which they raged and expressed grievance towards numerous ethnic groups and religions, a real broad stroke of kind of anger there.
You heard it. They have this broad sense of anger. But I've looked at all of the things, their comprehensive list on the things that they hated. And it is a textbook breakdown of liberal ideologies. All of them. Let's look at them separately. Forget about the comparisons between the two. Let's break them down. A comprehensive list of Robert Westman's hatred. Life, world, and society. Who are the people who are always down on the way the life is, the world is, and society? That's not a conservative idea. When conservatives are complaining about stuff, it's liberalism. They're not complaining about life. They know life is hard. They know that society can be tough. They understand that people don't agree with them. These things don't affect conservatives. It's not a conservative value by any stretch of the imagination. And do we complain? Hell yeah, we do. But it's usually about people like you. But we don't have a societal, like when we talk about societal problems, we talk about like the destruction of societal norms, like going to church, family, getting up early, going to school. Christianity and religious institutions, that don't sound like us. Who's got the biggest problem with religious institutions? Liberals, because they hate the patriarchy. They believe it's too demanding, it's too structured, too stringent. And the fact that both of these folks are transgender, no one's ever talked about the far left transgender group in this country. No one's ever done that. We go on. Jews and Israel. College campuses, anyone? But I digress. Racial minorities. White supremacy. Donald Trump and politicians. Children and the innocent. Who's got the biggest, real, anti-child rhetoric going on? Who considers a baby a fetus? Come on. Seriously. Self-hatred and personal despair. Who's more prone to that? Historical hatreds. Let's run through a few. Westman praised Adolf Hitler. Who's running around saying Hitler was right? Who's doing that? The college campuses. I'm seeing that all over the place. It's everywhere. Let's get our first check of weather and traffic. Was it Thursday? Bob Larson's not in today. We got Scott Holman in today for Bob Larson. And Mark Christopher, as always, is in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Good afternoon to you and good afternoon, everyone. Well, if you're heading into downtown Hartford right now,
and you're on the southbound side of I-91. Look for some slow traffic as you move between exit 33 and 32A and B. On the northbound side of 91, we had an accident between exit 22 and 23. Looks like that's been cleared now, but we're seeing delays though from 20 up to 22, Middletown into Cromwell. After that, it eases out up into Hartford. Westbound 84 slowing 56 Governor Street to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound, you've got slow traffic now from 43 Park Road in West Hartford right down into the tunnel. 291 through 84 okay east of the river. 2 westbound's a little tight as you merge with 84 west. 9 northbound slowing Harbor Park up to the Aragoni Bridge. 84 westbound, you've got slow traffic from 26 in Cheshire up to the Mixmaster in Waterbury. 84 eastbound, you're slowing 17 up to the Mixmaster in Waterbury. Heading into New Haven, South 95 slows 46 to 44, and southbound on the Parkway a little bit tight as you move down in toward the West Rock Tunnel. I'm Mark Christopher. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
The rest of this afternoon, partly sunny and pleasant with a high 77. Clouds will be on the increase tonight with a low of 58. Then mostly cloudy tomorrow, a couple of showers and a thunderstorm into the early afternoon hours. Gusty winds and small hail can accompany any thunderstorm and a high of 75. Turning out clear tomorrow night, low 53. A pleasant day on Saturday with sun and some clouds and a high 76. This is meteorologist Scott Homan in the WTIC Weather Center.
Get a head start to your day with WTIC News Talk 1080. Listen to us live on the Odyssey app before you even hit the road. Get the breakdown on the biggest news stories that Connecticut is talking about. To get started, download the Odyssey app and search for WTIC News Talk 1080. WTIC is celebrating 100 years on the air and 100 years of serving Connecticut. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
75 degrees, 4 o'clock. I'm Dave Mager, WTIC 1080 News. In a press conference last hour, acting U.S. Attorney for Minnesota, Joe Thompson, said the shooter who killed 2 children yesterday set out specifically to kill children. And in thousands of pages of writing, the shooter shows wide-ranging hatred.
The shooter expressed hate towards almost every group imaginable. The shooter expressed hate towards black people. The shooter expressed hate towards Mexican people. The shooter expressed hate towards Christian people. The shooter expressed hate towards Jewish people. In short, the shooter appeared to hate all of us.
This is Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara.
This is an unthinkable, completely senseless act. Violence perpetrated against children worshiping at Mass. And no investigation, no evidence will ever be able to make sense of such an unthinkable tragedy.
They now say 15 children were injured. They're between 6 and 15 years old. 3 others injured are in their 80s. As in most mass shootings, police believe at this point the shooter acted alone. The mayor of Hartford pleading with the WNBA to get on the ball and approve the sale of the Connecticut Sun to a group that would move it to the capital city rather than Boston or elsewhere. The WNBA is reportedly holding up the sale in the interest of an expansion process. Mayor Arunan Arulapalam spoke this morning in front of the Sun's would-be home, the newly renamed People's Bank Arena.
Is ridiculous behavior from the league, and it's ridiculous because they should be playing here. The Sun should be playing right behind me at the People's Bank Arena in front of what would be one of the largest arenas in the WNBA, in front of over 16,000 screaming fans who have a love and appreciation and understanding of this game that dates back decades.
Governor Lamont says the effort to keep the Sun in the state is, quote, an uphill climb. Wallingford police say an officer suffered a broken leg when he was attacked at a go-kart racing site. The call came in from on-track karting for an intoxicated man harassing staff and employees. Police say 20-year-old Tevin Robles became physical, injuring the officer. He later kicked out the window frame of a cruiser. He's being held on a $150,000 bond with a court date set for mid-September. There's a full-on revolt at the Centers for Disease Control. It's against the anti-vaccine Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. He tried to fire the new CDC director, Susan Monterez, but her attorneys say Kennedy lacks the authority to do so. Others at the CDC are resigning in support.
Basically, what we're hearing from the other top CDC officials who have resigned in protest is that they feel that the Director of Health and Human Services is listening to people who either don't have a medical or scientific background or whose scientific views have been debunked, rather than listening to the experts inside his own agency.
CBS's Nancy Cordes. Democratic Senator Patty Murray of Washington says it's Kennedy who should be fired. Fed Governor Lisa Cook is suing President Trump over his effort to fire her. No other president has sought to fire a Fed governor. Trump cites unproven claims of mortgage fraud involving Cook. State Treasurer Eric Russell warning about price increases. Tomorrow, on a White House order, the tariffs exemption for imported goods under $800 expires. Russell says that will mean higher prices, 10 to 50% on those goods for Connecticut companies and consumers.
For small businesses, and we've already heard about small businesses that anticipate being impacted by this policy here in Connecticut, this increases operational cost and complexity. It's risking jobs and competitiveness in the market.
Police in Waterford named the person found dead in Long Island Sound Tuesday. He was 39-year-old Jesse Pond of New London. No cause of death released. There's progress in the fight against cancer in dogs.
Come on, sweetheart.
2 years ago, Lola, the Golden Retriever's owners, were told she had 2 months to live after her cancer had spread to her lungs. As a last chance, Lola was enrolled in a clinical trial of a new inhaled immunotherapy at UC Davis. At first, she failed out, but Dr. Robert Rabune says a month later, Lola was cancer-free.
What we're trying to figure out is what makes Lola different, what makes her part of that 10% that responded.
The answer could help save humans with cancer. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
The Dow closed up 72 points. S&P was plus 20. The NASDAQ up 115. Sports, Red Sox get the 4-game sweep in Baltimore, beating the Orioles 3-2. Tonight, Yankees at the White Sox. The Mets host Miami. The Yard Goats home against Portland. U.S. Open second-round top seed Yannick Sinner has a 2-set lead over Alexei Popirin. For more, check out WTIC.com. I'm Dave Maker, WTIC 1080 News.
Hi, I'm Tom Connors. Patrick's Hypnosis Seminar, February 6, 2019. Nothing worked before. Left there and never smoked again. Amazing. Easy, affordable, and guaranteed. A year later, with my wife, Michelle, attended Mark Patrick's weight loss seminar. She lost 18 pounds, and I lost 43 in 8 weeks.
It's true. He smoked 2 packs a day, and nothing worked until Mark Patrick Hypnosis. Now we're losing weight together, eating healthy, full on half the food, crazy. Enjoying exercising. Who would have believed Mark Patrick Hypnosis really works?
It's amazing. I can breathe again. My blood pressure went down, and I've got so much energy.
So much energy.
And look great.
Join Mark Patrick Seminar's Early Bird Special, only $49.99. Hypnosis designed to destroy unwanted cravings. That's right. Seminars Thursday, September 18th, Hilton Garden in Hartford North, Bradley International Airport in Windsor. Weight loss seminar 5 Stop smoking seminar 8 p.m. Or Saturday, September 20th, Holiday Inn Express Southington. Weight loss seminar 11 a.m. Stop smoking seminar 2 p.m. Register markpatrickseminars.com.
It's Reese on the radio. And don't say we didn't warn you on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
We only got a minute.
Bagel Deli and Bakery. Between rounds.
And congratulations to Tom H. in Vernon. He is today's winner of the Between Rounds dozen bagels a month for 6 months, courtesy of Between Rounds, the Bagel Bakery and Sandwich Cafe, located in South Windsor, Vernon, and Manchester. If you'd like a chance to win, you got to go to ReeseOnTheRadio.com. That's R-E-E-S-E, an S, please. R-E-E-S-E on the radio.com in order to enter. Fill out the form. You must live in the state of Connecticut, and you cannot have won within the last 6 months from today. When we come back, I've got plenty of audio sound bites that we need to get into, plus your phone calls. And, folks, for those people out there who talk a lot of smack about our Senate and Congress, these hearings and stuff that goes down on the floor with people yelling at each other, saying, it's so divisive. It's just so divisive. I want you to go on X right now and go to the Blaze and look at the massive fight that broke out in the Mexican Senate where these two men, I'm looking at it now, but I love fights. So These two men are on there, and they are swinging on each other. We're talking like a massive. People are throwing blows, grabbing each other by the jackets, haymaker swings. It's great. It's real, Lincoln Douglas. They are on the floor swinging on each other in Mexico. I hear it's about the cartels, but I don't know anything about that. Let's get another check of weather and traffic. Mark Christopher, he's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, buddy.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon, everyone. Well, if you're heading into Hartford right now, southbound 91, look for delays from 33 down to 32 A and B. Again, some slow traffic as you move down between exit 28 and exit 25 in Wethersfield. If you're traveling on the northbound side of 91, a little slow up by 24 for the Silestine Highway. Up to 25, 26. After that, good ride Hartford up into Windsor. If you are traveling 291, 384, that looks good. 2 westbound slowing 1D up to the 84 West Merge. 9 northbound Middletown slows Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. Looks like we might have an accident now. 91 northbound, and that looks like it's between 20 and 21 on the Middletown Cromwell line. A delay there. 84 eastbound slows 17 to 18. Westbound 84 is tied up 26 in Cheshire up to the Mixmaster in Waterbury. If you're heading on the southbound side of 95, you've got delays in New Haven from 46 down to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th. WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Mixture of clouds and sunshine the rest of this afternoon. Highs up to 77. Then turning cloudy tonight, low 58. We'll see lots of clouds tomorrow, a couple of showers, and a thunderstorm into the early afternoon. Watch for gusty winds and small hail with any thunderstorm, and a high of 75. Clear tomorrow night, then Saturday and Sunday, even Monday, partly sunny and pleasant, highs in the upper 70s. Right now it's 77 in Newington, 77 in Manchester, and 75 in Hartford. This is meteorologist Scott Homan in the WTIC Weather Center.
Are you looking to hire? ZipRecruiter finds the best candidate for your job fast. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
I can't get the signal. Okay, seriously. Now there's absolutely no excuse not to listen to WTIC News Talk 1080. You can literally hear us anywhere when you listen on your smartphone. And now you can hear us on the Odyssey app, the iHeartRadio app, and the TuneIn app. So pick your favorite and search and follow WTIC News Talk 1080 in the app. Then listen wherever you are. It's really that easy. So no more, I can't get the signal. We've made it easy. WTIC News Talk 1080 on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, and TuneIn apps.
Making sense of it all and having fun. That's how we would sum up our and Robbins. It's what happens when you take a Gen Xer, a millennial, and a baby boomer and give them a radio show.
We go through the news the same way you and your friends would, taking the serious stuff seriously while also laughing at the absurd.
Each one of us brings a unique perspective to the news of the day, closing the generation gap in a way no other talk show can. Hear Markley, Van Camp, and Robbins weeknights 6 until 9 on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Every week on the Moth Podcast, we share stories that are funny, strange, heartbreaking, and above all, true.
I myself have been married for 56 years. Unfortunately, to 4 different women.
It turns out the people I was looking for all my life is what you people would call nerds.
Follow and listen to The Moth on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
It's Reese on the Radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, we got a lot of stuff to get into today, and let me just get into it, and I promise I'll get to the phones soon enough. I want to bring this out here because once you hear this stuff, you'll start to recognize why I said when talking to Sally D earlier that we have a news media that is working as the political apparatus for the Democrat Party or for liberalism overall. And nothing could shed more light on that than what I saw yesterday. And many of you saw it as well. I want to go through a couple of them, a couple of things. We know that the shooter was on YouTube expressing their hatred for Christianity and for Catholics and these Christian or Catholic children. He exposed it. But there were so many efforts by the news media, CNN in particular, to make this about other things or to act like we didn't see with our own eyes what we saw. Here's John Miller. Now remember, John Miller working at CNN is like their chief investigative reporter. This guy worked in policing. He started as a news reporter, worked in policing, worked for the Bush administration. This guy is supposed to understand anti-terrorism, policing, criminality, all that stuff. So he is, as a journalist, is the inside track. Like, this is the guy who knows it all.
Going through the writings, particularly going through the videos as he, the shooter, laid out his weapons and held up each individual parts, what you saw there was a pervasive message of hate. Hate against blacks, hate against Jews, hate against God, and the target, of course, being a Catholic church. But
this all sounds like tenets of a liberal. That all sounds like motive.
But there's also a degree of posturing there about what we're going to investigate it as. They're investigating it in support of the Minneapolis police who have a homicide case. The offender is dead. It is doubtful that anyone other than the offender, unless we learn something very new in the next couple of days, is going to be charged. I almost find the conclusion that it's a hate crime against Catholics premature.
This is the chief intelligence guy on CNN. And you might remember Jonathan Miller the last time CNN had to cover a shooting. It was in New York, where we found out who the shooter was before the news ever mentioned it. Jonathan Miller, again, chief intelligence correspondent for CNN, said this.
They do not know who he is. They know he is a male, possibly white.
If you thought that was bad, let's check out Evan Perez. He is their justice reporter. He obviously shows no justice towards the truth because as long as he's been in the business, he doesn't understand how semi-automatic weapons work.
It seemed like a rifle, he said, a semi-automatic rifle, and it went on for several minutes.
Right, and look, that's not uncommon as well. These things can shoot dozens of bullets, in just one trigger pull, right? And so what happens?
Dozens of bullets in just one trigger pull. Semi-automatic weapons. What I also found a little scary was Chief Brian O'Hara. Again, we live in the internet age. We live in the social media age. Hell, we live in the information age. And everybody is getting the information in real time. We don't have to wait on the news media anymore. The fact that this guy would be several hours in and be on the news and say this blows my mind.
But what do we know about this online presence and the YouTube videos? Do they provide anything that could lead to a motive?
So here's a reporter saying the YouTube videos, which we have confirmed is the shooters. It's not made up. It is the shooters. Have we come to a motive?
Yes, and obviously that's something that we want to be able to provide for our community and the public in general as fast as possible. There's still hundreds of pages that have been retrieved through these search warrants that the FBI is going through with us and helping us to try and determine a specific motive, but from everything...
A specific motive. Let's go to Amy Klobuchar.
He was an all-purpose hater, by the way. Hated groups left, right, you name it. There's no way to pin an ideology on this. And
Defend equality, kill Donald Trump. This guy was an all-purpose hater. He didn't hate the LGBTQ community. The people, again, this is all an effort to misdirect because they know it's one of theirs. As I like to say, hey, this one of yours? Yes, it's one of yours. What I also find interesting, and this is the part that made me mad, you heard me yell about the mayor of Minneapolis, Jacob Frey. Erin Burnett on CNN was trying to get him on the air so he could explain, what were you saying when you were talking about don't direct this towards the trans community? Here's what Frey said to Erin Burnett.
This is being seized in all corners, as you can imagine, in all sorts of ways. And you know that, Mayor, and perhaps that's why when you spoke about this so profoundly and powerfully as you are even here now, but when you spoke about this today publicly, you voiced concern for the transgender community, for the community overall. And obviously, you chose to do that in that moment because you thought it was important. And I wanted to give you a chance to say why you felt it was important to do that in that moment.
Obviously, I've heard about the rhetoric and the narrative that is being pushed out, but here's the thing. Anybody that is going to use this as an opportunity to villainize our trans community or any community has lost touch with a common humanity. We got to be operating not out of hate for any group, but out of a love for our children. That's where the focus needs to be right now. A love for our kids, seeing these kids, not just as somebody else's kids, this horrific thing happened, but what if it was our own? How would we feel then? So, look, we need to be standing up for every community out there, a Catholic community too, by the way. I mean,
where the hell was all of this when other instances that were major news story where we had compassion for people who had nothing to do with it, right? A transgender person writes a manifesto about the hatred they have for other groups who have marginalized him as a representative of those groups, and the mayor sits up here and talks about how we can't demonize the transgender community. We need to stand with them too. Was that always the case? I looked this up. I wrote this down. Did the news media make it a point to separate people who showed up at the 2021 Stop the Steal rally from the rioters at the Capitol on January 6th? I'll say it again for the lefties out there. Did the news media make it a point to separate the people who showed up to the 2021 Stop the Steal rally from the rioters at the Capitol on January 6th? This was the answer. No. The news media did not consistently make a point to separate the people who attended the Stop the Steal rally from the rioters who breached the Capitol on January 6, 2021. Coverage varied significantly by outlet, reflecting partisan divides. Left-leaning media often portrayed the rally and riot as interconnected parts of a Trump-incited mob action, with little emphasis on the distinguishing peaceful attendees from the violent actors. Right-leaning media, however, frequently drew a clear line, emphasizing that true Trump supporters were peaceful and suggesting the violence stemmed from a small fringe or even infiltrators like Antifa, which we know to be true. So now people are asking us, for some odd reason, because the person is trans, don't connect them all. Forget you. You gave the marching orders. We're going to follow them. Sorry. You should have thought of that in the beginning. It's too late now. And now that we have two trans shooters who we can clearly, distinguishably, say have the seven consistent views in comparison, yeah, I'm going to go there. I think it's only right. You guys got to be kidding me. Talking about how you don't confuse the two. And Mayor Jacob Frey, let's go one step further.
These were Minneapolis families. These were American families. And the amount of pain that they are suffering right now is extraordinary. And don't just say this is about thoughts and prayers right now. These kids were literally praying. It was the first week of school. They were in a church. These are kids that should be learning with their friends.
Yeah, we all know that. The reason why we're giving thoughts and prayers is that even after they were murdered by some really, really bad piece of garbage that you invented, we thought that we should give thoughts and prayers to those who have dealt with unspeakable thought of loss. And we thought that showing our prayers in solidarity with that Catholic and Christian community was a good thing. Now allow me to do something you can't believe. I'm going to allow some grace to the governor of Minnesota, former vice presidential candidate Tim Walz, who ignored the sentiment of Mayor Frey.
So I ask the rest of the folks around the country who are watching, keep us in your thoughts and prayers, but also keep us in the thoughts for action. Keep us in the ideas that we can work together. And it's on these days like this, I think, and I hope we can hold on to it, we are unified as a community. Everybody across the country today is part of the Annunciation Parish, and they're with those families.
And I applaud Tim Walz for saying that, by ignoring all that nonsense. I just couldn't believe that he said it. But, there it is. I want to say this. I want to play this piece real quick before we go to break, and then we'll get to the phone calls on the other side. So please, everybody who's there, stand by, be patient. I appreciate you. This is Temecula County in California. This is a school board meeting. The man who is speaking is a father of daughters. And the reason why he's speaking is because of this document. Let me see if I can find it here and put it up on the screen, because I will read it to you. Is it this one? Let me get the picture. There it is. Here's the picture of it. I'll read it to you. Let me get it in front of me, because for some odd reason it's behind me. I thought that I'd kept it where it was. Here it is. This is called a mental health accommodation request form. Again, this is Temecula County, California's mental health accommodation request form. What is this form for? This is a form for girls in Temecula County schools to fill out if they have a problem with being in the bathroom or locker room with a transgender male.
Good evening, board. My name is Manu Grigorian. I'm a father of 4 beautiful daughters. I'm also the co-founder, one of the co-founders of Leave Our Kids Alone, who is in collaboration with many other organizations, over 1 million followers in total. And I'm here speaking in behalf of all of them. When you first opened this topic, the key word that you said was, if a girl does not want to change in front of the opposite sex. You yourself admitted that trans girls were the opposite sex, like they're a boy. You didn't say it like that, but saying the opposite sex of a girl, to me, is a boy, okay? So this is not what we as parents want to see. I don't want my child, who's a daughter, that has to sign a paper to be opt-out from her space. This is not okay.
It's not okay that the girl has to sign a mental health request because she will not accept a biological boy as a girl. She's the person with the mental health excuse. But now I got to go to the dirty place. And folks, this is exactly how disgusting and despicable these individuals can be. Do I have this piece here? Do I not have? Yeah, I don't have it up here, so I'm going to read them to you. So bear with me. These I downloaded earlier. On Reddit, there were people online talking about the shooting. Let me read to you what they wrote. Take the fight to their kids so they can feel what it's like to be attacked for your identity. Elect a fascist. Your kids are legitimate targets. Republicans are enemies of humanity, and thinning the herd is our duty. More dead Christians laugh out loud. To me, it seems like if you elect a bad guy that's cruel to people and weaponize his cruelest and horrific behavior against our neighbors, some of those horrible things will happen. We'll read more when we return. Let's get to weather and traffic. Scott Holman's got weather, and Mark Christopher's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Well, good afternoon. If you're heading on the southbound side of 91, look for delays from 33 down to 32 A and B. Again, 27 down to 25 S and N in Wethersfield. Northbound side of 91, you're bunching up between exit 22 and 23 on the Cromwell Rocky Hill line. A little slow again as you move 24 up to 25, 26 in Wethersfield. Westbound 84 running slow, 56 Governor Street out to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound is tied up from 44 Prospect Oakwood and West Hartford into the tunnel. 2 westbound tight, 1D up to the 84 West merge. 291, 384 okay. If you are traveling toward Middletown, 9 northbound slowing Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. 9 northbound, again, some sluggish traffic from 32 in Berlin up to 36 in New Britain. Southbound side of Route 9, you've got delays 33 down to the area of exit 30 in Cromwell. 84 eastbound coming into Waterbury, delays 17 up to the Mixmaster. Westbound 84 is tied up approaching 26 in Cheshire up to the Mixmaster. If you're traveling toward New Haven, southbound Parkway, you've got delays 60 into the West Rock Tunnel. Northbound Parkway slowing by exit 59. South 95 New Haven, tight 46 down to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather. The remainder of this afternoon, partly sunny and pleasant with a high 77. Increasing clouds tonight with a low of 58. Then a lot of clouds tomorrow, a couple of showers and a thunderstorm into the early afternoon. Then gusty winds and small hail can accompany any thunderstorm with a high of 75. Clear tomorrow night, low 53. Then partly sunny and pleasant on Saturday with a high of 76. This is meteorologist Scott Homan in the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a WTIC news update.
75 degrees at 4:30. I'm Dave Mager, WTIC 1080 News. There's new information from Minnesota, where the acting U.S. attorney says, based on thousands of pages of writing, the Minneapolis school shooter hated everyone except other school shooters. He killed 2 children and injured 15 other kids. And acting U.S. Attorney Joe Thompson says that's what he was trying to do.
More than anything, the shooter wanted to kill children, defenseless children. The shooter was obsessed with the idea of killing children. The shooter saw the attack as a way to target our most vulnerable.
The 15 injured children are between 5 and 15. A 12-year-old girl is in critical condition at the same hospital where her mother works. 3 others, all in their 80s, were also hurt. Some police departments around Connecticut are increasing patrols around schools. There's no threat reported. With an eye on restarting the project, Governor Lamont wants more information from the White House on why it shut down Revolution Wind.
I've had some very preliminary conversations. I'm supposed to talk to the Secretary of Interior yesterday, now today. We were taken by surprise, contrary to a lot of the assurances they had given us previously. I know this is going to get back on track, but I don't know what they did and why they did it.
The wind farm was nearing completion and will be capable of powering 350,000 homes. Added to the list of Trump recent firings, a member of the Surface Transportation Board says he was fired for unknown reasons after the Acela unveiling this week. Fed Governor Lisa Cook is suing the White House over her firing. There's a court hearing on that tomorrow. And there's a Ford recall of 500,000 SUVs.
The issue is with a hose that can rupture on 2015 to 2018 model year Ford Edges and Lincoln MKXs. That hose can leak brake fluid. That could lengthen stopping distances and increase the risk of a crash. Ford says it has no reports of crashes or injuries related to the problem.
CBS's Jeff Gilbert reporting on Wall Street, the Dow was up 72 points. S&P closed up 20. NASDAQ up 115. Sports, Red Sox get a 4-game sweep of Baltimore, winning 3-2 this afternoon, as heard on WTIC. Yankees at the White Sox, the Mets host Miami, the Yard Goats home against Portland. For more, check out WTIC.com. I'm Dave Mager, WTIC 1080 News.
Comcast Business High Five Hotline. What's the state of your excitement?
I signed my business up for the 5-year price lock guarantee, and I can't stop high-fiving people. High five!
Okay, deep breath. You're in a good place. You signed your business up for 5 years of gig speed internet and advanced security, all on our ultra-reliable network.
Gig speeds and advanced security? I'm so stoked.
Yep, and you get it at a great rate that's locked in for 5 years.
Woo!
The high five is just your body's way of saying, I'm winning.
So this is natural.
High-fiving everyone you see in a state of business savings enthusiasm, totally natural.
Sweet! Thank you! Thank you! High five, everybody! High five!
The Comcast Business 5-year price lock guarantee is back, but only for a limited time, so sign your business up today.
High five!
Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 9/21/25 for new customers with qualifying bundle. Current customers may be eligible depending on services and area. Guaranteed rate applies to monthly service charge, excluding taxes and fees. Other restrictions apply.
You're listening to Leaf Filter. Guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See right
Here we go.
details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
Stay locked in. Reese on the Radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Stand by, guys. Your phone calls coming up. We've got weather and traffic in a second, so stand by for that. Read something in the chat room. I've never understood why people keep repeating this. It is, okay, it is not silly. It's not even misguided. It's dumb. And the people who express it should be embarrassed when they do. Let me read it. And the blame game, finger pointing continues from both sides. Meanwhile, this country continues to be divided even more. Who is destroying this country? Now, for the reality check to the obvious infant who wrote it, and this is the part that makes me mad because it's disingenuous to suggest that there is some utopia somewhere outside of a Harry Potter book or some Never Never Land wherever you may, I don't know, knock yourself in the head and dream about. Every place on the planet has a division. No one gets along anywhere. Political divisions existed since the dawn of time. Hell, even Cain and Abel fought to the death. Not everyone agrees. We can't. Do you understand what type of world it would be if all of us just agreed on everything? And by the way, just so we understand, who gets to decide on the thing that we all agree upon? Who's that omnipotent one? We all have the free will to believe what we believe. Finger pointing will happen. The blame game will persist. But here's the thing you might want to recognize next time around. Somebody might be to blame. And you should consider that. What you're avoiding is accountability. That's why you're screaming about blaming. Because you think the word blame is a pejorative. It is not. If your kid breaks a lamp, he's the one to blame. Isn't he? Especially if he's responsible. It doesn't get to be the lamp's fault because of its position. See how that works? So please stop. You're a grown man, an older person. You're older than me. Can you act like one and grow up? The blame game. Who's that silly someone must be blamed because there's blame to go around. And if you don't think there is, ask the school system in and around Connecticut today that finally realized perhaps we should have some cops around so they don't get blamed for leaving those kids vulnerable. We'll be back. Scott Holman has weather. Mark Christopher's in the BPS Traffic Center. How we doing, buddy?
Well, right now, overall, we're doing okay, Reese. If you're heading into Hartford on the southbound side of 91, you've got some slow traffic, 33 down to 32 A and B, and again, 27 down to 28. Northbound 91, got some slow traffic, 21 to 22, and again, 24 up to 25, 26 in Wethersfield. After that, good ride, Hartford up into Windsor. A little slow, I should take that back. A little slow, 35 to 36 in Windsor. Westbound 84 tied up, 56 Governor Street out to 45 Flatbush. 84 eastbound, you've got delays, 44 Prospect Oakwood down to the Bulkley Bridge. 2 westbound slowing, 1D up to the 84 West merge. Middletown's okay. 9 northbound, you got some slow traffic in Berlin from exit 32 up to exit 34. Southbound side of Route 9, you got some slow traffic, 32 down to exit 30 in Cromwell. Westbound side of 84 tied up, approaching 26 in Cheshire up to the Mixmaster in Waterbury. 84 eastbound Waterbury slowing 17 to 18. A little tight again as you approach the 691 interchange in Cheshire. 84 eastbound, look for some slow traffic near Connecticut line up by exit 3. We have an accident reported there. And then again, you'll see delays 8 up to exit 11 in Newtown. Southbound Parkway delays from 60 into the West Rock. 95 southbound New Haven slows 46 down to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
Traffic brought to you by the Connecticut Police Chiefs Association. Before our children get to school, they're on the roads, on sidewalks, in crosswalks, riding bikes, and waiting for buses. So put away the distractions and slow down. School's in. Drive smart. A message from the Connecticut Police Chiefs Association and Connecticut DOT.
WTIC weather.
Pleasant the rest of this afternoon with a high 77 and turning out cloudy tonight. We're going to see a low of 58. A lot of clouds around tomorrow, a couple of showers, even a thunderstorm. Any of those storms can produce gusty winds and small hail with a high 75. Then clear tomorrow night, low 53, and a very nice holiday weekend. Saturday, partly sunny and pleasant, high 76, and partly sunny and pleasant again on Sunday with a high of 78. Right now it's 74 in Farmington, 77 in Windsor, and 75 in Hartford. This is meteorologist Scott Homan with WTIC Weather Center.
Join Mark Patrick Seminars Lose the Weight Stop Smoking Early Bird Special $49.99. Seminars Thursday, September 18th, Hilton Garden in Hartford North, Bradley International Airport, Windsor. Weight loss 5:30 p.m. Stop Smoking Seminar 8 p.m. Or Saturday, September 20th, Holiday Inn Express Southington. Weight loss 11 a.m. Stop Smoking Seminar 2 p.m.
Hi, Eric Hogarth, Money Wisdom. This week, we're going to talk about interest rates. Do they really matter to you? And what impact do they have? And also answer the questions that you and your friends have been asking. Tune in this Saturday at 8:30, right here on TIC News Talk 1080.
Are you looking to hire? ZipRecruiter finds the best candidate for your job fast. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
At Joe the Plumber, we stand behind all our residential work, except maybe toilets. I mean, we do great work on toilets, but toilets are right up against the wall, so they're kind of hard to stand behind, you know? Visit us at calljoetheplumber.com.
Life unfolds in ways you never quite expect. Starting a new business, getting remarried, being hurt on the job, or through personal injury. Each time, you're left searching for someone new to trust. But what if you had a full-service law firm that knows you and a firm that can represent all of your legal needs? With BPS Lawyers, you get more than a lawyer. You get a full-service law firm. Visit bpslawyers.com. BPS Lawyers, your lawyers for life. Proud full-service law partner of Yukon Athletics. Nick Payne-Dearis is responsible for the content of this ad.
Feel like everything's clouded by doubt? Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com. Our psychics are available to talk 24. Guaranteed. If it's not life-changing, it's free. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
We asked parents to share their journey of adopting teens.
They changed who I am because I can't see life without them in it.
Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. Brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're dedicated to serving people 50 and up like me. Our needs are different.
Big Wireless wants us in an unlimited plan, but if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on affordable, reliable plans, including data that suits your needs, not ours. Our plans start at just $20, and you'll get the best customer service in the business.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumer.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
The NAACP calls him, whoa, I don't think I'm allowed to read this.
It's Reese on the Radio.
Let's just say some people are not fans. On News Talk 1080, WTIC.
Don't you dare fret. Negro nonsense is coming. So I know you're waiting for that, so stand by. Yeah, it's a ridiculous idea. I hear this stuff all the time talking about, all of this division. That's how you make a more perfect union. There are some people who believe that their ideas are their ideas, and there are other people who believe that their ideas are their ideas. And they get together, and some people get upset. Other people deal with it. Or other people say, no, we don't want to live that way. That's how democracies work, I thought. Even though we're a republic. But I thought that's how democracies work. Let's go to Sean in Meriden. Hello, sir.
Hey, great show so far, what I've heard. But one of the things I think that, well, I don't think people have missed it, and
Okay.
actually you've nailed it several times. It really comes down to, for me, let me speak for myself,
Mm-hmm.
I haven't held decision, okay? Because things are either going to promote unity and working together, and unity doesn't mean you have to agree on everything. It
Right.
just means for the common good, you just have a discussion, and when you're right, you're right, and when you're wrong, you own it, and you move on. But for the left, I mean, for the last 4 years, and actually as a black man, it really pissed me off because a lot of this crap was started under Obama. Okay, and his division and everything by race and everything by color, like the police officer out of Boston, who he immediately, because it was a friend of his, said it was because his friend was black is why he got stopped. No, it was because he was drunk.
No,
Okay?
he wasn't drunk.
And
He wasn't drunk. He was being a jerk. Henry Louis Gates, or Skip Gates as he's referred,
okay.
he told the guy to go, how do I put it? He told the cop to go have sex with his mother.
Well, yeah, that will get you in trouble.
Yeah.
With a police officer every single time.
And what was the police officer's crime, as it were? He asked the guy to prove that the home had belonged to him because a neighbor contacted the police because they saw a man climbing through the window because Skip Gates lost his key. That's all.
But it really gets to be very, very simple. And the facts are the facts are the facts.
Yep.
Okay. And anyone who's going to justify this shooting or any other one, when the hate has been promoted, okay, and Kamala did a good job pushing it. So does Walz, which I'm so glad you played something very positive by him, because it's the first thing I've heard positive regarding the United States of America from him, which is amazing.
Which is why I thought it appropriate to show him grace. When I heard him say that, like other people were making note of it that was saying sort of the contradiction between the two. With Tim Walz, look, as screwy as that guy may be, and as much as we can be criticized, in this moment, it should have been exactly what Tim Walz had done. And that was, he didn't say anything. He talks about the president ad nauseum in a disparaging way. But when he said the president called him, he put politics aside. And Mayor Frey couldn't do it.
And that is the key. See, that's I would imagine that's how he started in politics. Is that innocent moment that we heard, and then he got, okay, if you're on our side, here's how you're going to be.
Right. Exactly.
And so you know, all my and hearts. And the other thing, and on this, Jen Psaki, who said we don't want your prayers and all this other stuff to the people. Oh, prayers don't count for nothing, basically. I'm like, really?
Who is she? But you know what? This is the other thing I don't understand. Jen Psaki says we don't want your prayers. Who are we? Who are you talking about? That's not your community. And then you're not speaking for anyone. Yeah. Who the hell is we? You know, so it's just odd. Thank you, Sean. I appreciate you, sir. Let's go to Tom in Thomaston. Thanks for holding, Tom. What's up?
Hey, I'm excellent. Thanks.
Hey, you are so right. Disingenuous. That's what, anytime a lefty wacko acts out, the left is so disingenuous. It drives me nuts. But, and I was all in with Danny D until he said the government started Lyme disease. I lost him right then, ladies.
Sally D?
Yeah.
Hey, he made it clear that he was going off the reservation with it. He made it clear.
He went off the reservation, that's for sure. But hey, I could solve this school shooting problem today. President Trump gets on the airwaves tonight at 9 o'clock and said, my Trump tariff policy has brought in so much money, I was going to give everyone a Trump stimulus tariff check. But instead of doing that, I'm going to take all that money and start a federal force that protects every school in this country.
Wow.
And you could hire all ex-military that got training in the combat arms, give them jobs when they end their involvement in the military, and you can make the schools safe like they should be.
You know what? Now, it would kind of go against what Donald Trump has done to defederalize public education. But I understand what you're saying. There is a caveat to that because they again, those schools will still get federal funding. If you were to have a carve-out that would go federal funding to each state on education, and then you'd have a carve-out to the security of said education, establishment for every campus. Yeah, absolutely.
That's even better, Reese, because if they did it federally, when Trump got out of office, that agency would just bloat like every other agency.
Exactly.
So, carve out all that money he was going to give for a stimulus check, $1,000. I mean, it would be nice, but it would be better spent protecting.
Hey, I would take all of the money that I was saving, like, Doge is still in the works, cutting all of that bloat that's in the Board of Education that goes to anything and everything administratively. Remember, we're talking about money that goes to a federalized Board of Education. Take the money that you're saving by defederalizing that and have a carve-out that goes directly to security to all of the schools across the nation.
Hey, we take those 4 or 5 CDC blowhards that just quit. Take that money, give it to them. And here's the reason why. Reese, here's the reason why. Why were there only 25 children killed at Sandy Hook and not 30 or 40 or 50?
Because the police arrived.
Exactly. A man with a gun showed up, and that putrid coward shot himself.
That's right. It's funny, I said it every time, is that if we know, and that's the thing, we can't detect who the maniac is going to be, but we know who the target is. We're not in the dark here. We're not in the dark.
Yeah.
It's one thing to be completely in the dark and we're going, we don't know where the targets are going to be. We know who the target is. So let's protect that.
Yeah, it's such an easy fix. I don't understand it.
Yeah, agreed. Thank you, boss. I appreciate you. Let's go to Tim in Hampton. What's going on, sir?
Hi, good afternoon. A couple of points and stuff. I think the last trans shooter was a copycat, essentially. All the reports say that he was obsessed with mass shootings.
Right.
And
as many of them are.
All that stuff, as most of them, all that sort of stuff. But I like what I'm calling now the lazy media, saying that this latest shooter had a manifesto. It's like manifesto, where most people are like, I barely know what that is. So the guy scribbles some stuff down on a spiral, puts a few things on the internet, tries to get himself, noticed by putting, his guns and everything on there, essentially begging for attention and everything.
Clearly.
But it's not, some sort of, manifesto from the progressive, or left or liberals.
Well, I think that because of our changing media, a manifesto can be loosely defined. I agree with you in the sense of it wasn't like the Unabomber who writes, why he's doing all of this. And like I would say in the traditional sense.
It wasn't Mein Kampf.
Yeah. Fair enough. But I want to ask you this, and I'll let you come up with your other point. I want to ask you this. This apathy that this shooter, Westman, wrote about African Americans and praising Dylan Roof. Let me ask you this. I'm going to set it up for you. I'm leading the witness, so I'm going to emphasize that first, that I am leading the witness. People said that was associative with his anti-black stance. I would suggest that the reason why he was celebrating Dylan Roof was because Dylan Roof killed African Americans inside the church. And this shooter, Westman, has an apathy towards Catholicism. Would you make that same assessment?
It could be. I mean, essentially, you've got somebody shooting people in a barrel. They have nowhere to run. They block off the doors, and he comes in and that stuff. There are a lot of people that have tremendous hatreds, for the church and everything, all across the board. A lot of people have left the church, but liberals in particular, you said liberals don't like, what depends on what kind of church.
They don't like Catholicism. They don't like Catholicism because of its paternalistic attributes, for lack of a better term. Well, they don't like that. They don't like that it's sort of judgmental. It says that you have to adhere to certain guidelines and a dogma, and they find that offensive. And they use other like the priest sexualization of children as sort of like the backdrop of why they should not be listened to, or Catholicism, or even the Crusades. Before they had the scandal in Boston and in New England, it used to be the Crusades, which was the contributing factor to why we shouldn't listen to Catholicism.
Well, I mean, even the current, Pope, which a lot of people just, we like the current Pope and all that stuff. I mean, he's, pulled back on a lot of the kind of things that, quote, liberals would care for and everything.
Oh, he's a conservative.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think people are, they're trying to mix up somebody who hates everything, essentially, try to,
But did he really? But no, you're right. This Westman did hate everybody. But let's talk about the everybody he hated. He did not hate transgenders, did he? No. So he didn't hate. He didn't hate. He didn't hate transgender.
He didn't see transgender people as affecting him or putting
so the
him
word
down
everybody. So the word everybody is now null and void. And I'll go back to your earlier point about the manifesto, right? Because you said manifesto we can't use if it doesn't meet the criteria. Well, guess what? He didn't hate everybody, so it no longer meets the criteria. He didn't hate.
He certainly hated a wide spectrum of.
He did, and every one of them, one of them were things that liberals hate. Yes.
Well, I don't know. Did he hate Muslims? Did he hate this?
Actually, yes.
A lot of groups and stuff.
Yes.
Oh, I hadn't seen that.
Yeah.
But we have to be very careful. Again, with all of the things going on, why we can't go back to Ronald Reagan's idea that we don't need assault weapons anymore. There's a meme going around with all the places.
Tim, I got to cut you off in this sense. Okay, at the risk of offending you, because I know how sensitive you are on this. Okay, if I stab you with a spoon, does it become an assault spoon? The gun doesn't. Listen. Hold on. The gun doesn't make ice cream, sir. The gun does what the gun does. The term assault rifle or assault weapon is redundant. It doesn't do other things. A gun shoots. It doesn't make ice cream. It doesn't change your oil. It's a gun. Why use assault weapon? Why use assault weapon?
Who's fired these things? It's not the same thing.
No, sir. Yes, it is. It is the same thing.
It's not the same thing when you can spray some.
There's no spraying.
A crowd of people.
An assault weapon does not spray.
As fast as you can pull the trigger.
Did you wait a moment? Did you miss the shooting of Amadou Diallo?
So
hold on.
People,
did you? No, don't change the subject. I'm asking you. Do you remember the shooting of Amadou Diallo?
What about it?
Do you know how many guns were fired? I mean, how many bullets were fired?
57 or something like that.
Very good. It was in the 50s. You're 100% right.
Yeah,
one officer fired 31 rounds. Did you know that?
Hi.
Hold on. Wait. Out of 50, One officer fired 31 rounds in a matter of seconds with a pistol, with a gun. Okay? How did he pull? Wait. How did he pull it off? He had to fire the weapon 31 times with his gun. He did it in a matter of seconds. So again, same thing with an AR-15. He has to do the same thing. But I got to go. But I appreciate the back and forth. It was a great conversation, and you were splendid. Let's get another check of weather and traffic, and we'll get back with Hollywood News when we return. Mark Christopher, he's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, bud.
That was civil. Holy smokes.
Was that great, right? Oh, that actually came off pretty well. I don't know how I do it sometimes.
Yeah, I was waiting for something to blow up, and it didn't. Holy smokes.
I'm a brilliant correspondent, sir.
You certainly are. Certainly are. Hey, if you're heading into Hartford right now, westbound side of 84 delays 56 Governor Street out to 45 Flatbush Avenue, 84 eastbound slowing 44 Prospect Oakwood down to the Bulkley Bridge. South of 91 delays 33 down to 32 A and B. Again, some slow traffic 27 down to 28. Northbound 91 sluggish approaching 24 up to 25, 26 in Wethersfield. Again, some slow traffic 35 to 36 in Windsor. If you are traveling 2 westbound, you got delays 1D up to the 84 West Merge. 2 eastbound slowing off of I-84 out to exit 3. 3 southbound slowing from Route 2 in Glastonbury down to the Putnam Bridge on the Glastonbury Wethersfield line. Southbound 9 slowing from exit 27 down to the Aragoni Bridge in Middletown. Northbound 9 slowing by the Aragoni. 91 southbound in Meriden sluggish. 19 down to 17. 84 eastbound Waterbury tight by 18. 84 westbound, you've got delays 26 in Cheshire up to the Mixmaster in Waterbury. And if you're southbound on the Parkway, look for delays 61 down into the West Rock Tunnel. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
The rest of this afternoon, partly sunny and pleasant with a high 77. Clouds will be on the increase tonight with a low of 58. Then mostly cloudy tomorrow, a couple of showers and a thunderstorm into the early afternoon hours. Gusty winds and small hail can accompany any thunderstorm and a high of 75. Turning out clear tomorrow night, low 53. A pleasant day on Saturday with sun and some clouds and a high 76. This is meteorologist Scott Homan in the WTIC Weather Center.
WTIC is celebrating 100 years on the air and 100 years of serving Connecticut. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
75 degrees, 5 o'clock. I'm Dave Mager, WTIC 1080 News. Some police departments around the state increasing patrols around schools after yesterday's deadly shooting at a Catholic school and church in Minneapolis. 2 children were killed. Acting U.S. Attorney for Minnesota Joe Thompson says the shooter intended to kill children.
The shooter idolized some of the most notorious school shooters and mass murderers in our country's history. I won't name them, just like I won't name the shooter. They don't deserve to have their names remembered.
Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara.
What we have seen so far is this is an individual who, unfortunately, like so many other mass shooters that we have seen in this country too often and around the world, had some deranged fascination with previous mass shootings and very disturbing writings that demonstrate hatred towards many different individuals and different groups of people.
There are 15 injured children between 5 and 15 years old. 3 others, all in their 80s, were also hurt. The man accused of killing his baby daughter in Naugatuck in 2022 is rejecting a plea deal. Chris Francischini is accused of killing 11-month-old Camilla. The deal would have sent him to prison for 40 years. He's charged with murder. He disappeared after the killing, leading to a lengthy search. He's held on $5 million bail in the case. There's a full-on revolt at the Centers for Disease Control against the anti-vaccine Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. He tried to fire the new CDC director, Susan Monterez, but her attorneys say Kennedy lacks the authority to do so. The White House now claims President Trump fired her. Other high-ranking CDC officials have resigned in support. CBS News medical contributor Dr. Celine Gounder.
You have 25% of the staff that's been fired. It's the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. A number of the directors of the various individual centers have also been pushed out. And then 3 additional center directors resigned yesterday.
Those 3 senior CDC officials were escorted off the agency's campus. Fed Governor Lisa Cook is suing President Trump over his effort to fire her. No other president has sought to fire a Fed governor. CBS News legal analyst Lori Levinson.
The Federal Reserve Board is supposed to be independent, but Trump has come after Lisa Cook, saying that somehow there's cause because there are allegations, vague allegations, unsubstantiated allegations that she had engaged in private mortgage fraud.
Wallingford police say an officer suffered a broken leg when he was attacked at a go-kart racing site. The call came in from on-track karting last night for an intoxicated man harassing staff and employees. Police say 28-year-old Tevin Robles became physical, injuring the officer. He later kicked out the window frame of a cruiser. He's being held on a $150,000 bond with a court date set for mid-September. State Treasurer Eric Russell warning about price increases. Tomorrow, on a White House order, the tariffs exemption for imported goods under $800 expires. Russell says that will mean higher prices of 10 to 50% on those goods for Connecticut companies and consumers.
It is the passing on of cost. It is these taxes that are going to be passed on through goods. It is inflationary policy that is particularly impacting working families and small businesses.
Donald Trump's takeover of the Kennedy Center now includes changes to the longstanding design of the medals awarded to honorees and the firing of a family company in favor of Tiffany's.
James Baturin and his family have been making the medals that have been handed out to Kennedy Center honorees since 1978.
They're iconic.
The gold-plated medallions attached to rainbow ribbon necklaces have been worn around the necks of some of the nation's most treasured artists. But now President Trump says they're going in a different direction, and Tiffany and Company will be redesigning them.
Hard to believe after 47 years.
His son calls the decision silly.
I don't see people redesigning the Oscars or the Golden Globes. It's what it should be. It's what it will be. It's what it was designed to be.
Stacey Lynn, CBS News, Washington.
Wall Street in the positive. The Dow closed up 72. S&P was plus 20. The NASDAQ up 115. Sports, the Red Sox get the 4-game sweep in Baltimore, beating the Orioles 3-2. Yankees at the White Sox. Mets host Miami. Yard Goats home against Portland. U.S. Open second round top seed Jannik Sinner, a straight set winner. Women's second seed Iga Swiatek, a winner in 3 sets. Former champ Naomi Osaka, also a winner. American Coco Gauff plays tonight against Donna Vekic. For more, check out WTIC.com. I'm Dave Mager, WTIC 1080 News.
Low testosterone today, even men as young as 30. But finding someone you can trust for quality low T treatment isn't so easy. This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health, a Promenic restorative health practice. And that's why I'm pleased to announce the opening of our newest location of Northeast Men's Health right here in Warwick. As a Promenic affiliate, Northeast Men's Health has the experience and expertise to get you the right treatment for your particular medical situation. At Northeast Men's Health, we're experts in treating low testosterone. In fact, we've successfully treated thousands of men for low T and have seen the amazing impacts low T treatments have. If you're like most men, you'll sleep better, have more energy and improve mental clarity, get better gains in the gym, and your sex drive will likely improve as well. So call us. Just $99 gets you a PSA and T test and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956. That's 800-930-5956. Or go to northeastmenshealth.com. We have 6 offices across the Northeast to serve you.
The hour that packs a punch. It's Reese on the Radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Yeah. It's Hollywood News with your correspondent, Reese on the Radio. All the glitz, all the glamour of Hollywood News right here on WTIC. You have to say it like that in order to make it, to just go along with the music. Yes, Hollywood News today. On November 1st, 1985, was a release of a small, low-budget film that would end up living in infamy. Now, of course, as Hollywood would do, there was a remake to it. Back in November of 1985 was a little B film called The Toxic Avenger. Anybody remember it? I didn't see it. I would have never seen it. In fact, when I did see it, I saw it by accident, and I hated every bit of it. But the thing that I can tell you about that movie was that it was groundbreaking in the sense of it became a cult classic, and groundbreaking because it had gone off the beaten path of what Hollywood movies did. There was a B movie. And some of the great B movies of yesteryear ended up, turning out to be actually pretty good success. Dawn of the Dead, things like that. What was the other movie? Not Army of Darkness. What was the other one? I'm thinking Evil Dead. Evil Dead became a cult classic. And, of course, here we are with Toxic Avenger. Now, I looked at some of the actors in this film. Andrea Miranda, Michael Cohen, or Mitchell Cohen, and Jennifer Baptiste. Nope, nobody knows who these people are. And the remake, this is the crazy one. The remake has big names in it, like Peter Dinklage. Yeah. Elijah Wood and Kevin Bacon. Finally showing the movie some love. These guys would have never been in the movie 40 years ago, but they're starring in it now, which always kind of ticks me off that people would find it important now to get into those films. Let's get another check of weather and traffic with our good friend Mark Christopher in a BPS Traffic Center. I know you remember the Toxic Avenger.
You tell me Dinklage was in that movie?
No. Peter Dinklage is in the 40-year-old remake that's coming out soon. He is actually going to be playing the tutu-wearing, mop-wielding, chemically altered title vigilante. And he's going up against Kevin Bacon and Elijah Wood, who are playing the villains in the new film Toxic Avenger, the remake.
All right.
Yeah.
There you go.
Peter Dinklage, a guy who's like a Shakespearean actor. Game of Thrones. Yeah, come on, Game of Thrones. He's a thou art guy. And now he's doing Toxic Avenger.
I better get my cliff notes for that. I won't understand any of it. Hey, if you're heading into Hartford right now, westbound 84, you're tied up 56 Governor Street out to 45 Flatbush Avenue, 84 eastbound. You got delays from about a mile before 46 Avenue down to the Bulkley. Southbound 91, some delays 33 down to 32 A and B, and again 27 to 28. Northbound side of 91's a little slow, 24 up to 25, 26 in Wethersfield. After that, a little tap of the brakes between 35 and 36 in Windsor. 291 eastbound slowing, approaching the Bissell Bridge as you head into South Windsor. 2 westbound slowing 1D up to the 84 West Merge. 2 eastbound slowing coming off of I-84. Both sides of Route 3 heavy between the Putnam Bridge and the Route 2 interchange. If you're heading into Middletown, 9 northbound slowing at the Aragoni, 9 southbound sluggish, 27 down into the Aragoni Bridge. If you're traveling toward Waterbury, 84 eastbound delays 17 to 18. Westbound 84 is sluggish, 26 in Cheshire up to the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound Danbury slowing 3 to 5. Again, 84 eastbound tight 8 out to 11 in Newtown. Southbound Parkway delays 61 down into the West Rock Tunnel. Northbound Parkway slows 58 up to the West Rock Tunnel in New Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
This traffic report is being brought to you by Stu Leonard's Farm Fresh Foods.
This week's Stu Leonard's app deals, direct from Amish country, all natural boneless chicken thighs are just $2.99 a pound, save $1. Plus, bone-in beef short ribs are just $7.99 a pound. See more weekly deals at StuLeonards.com.
WTIC weather.
Clouds will be on the increase tonight with a low of 58, then mostly cloudy tomorrow. A couple of showers and a thunderstorm, especially into the early afternoon. Gusty winds and small hail can accompany any of those thunderstorms on a high 75. Clear and cool tomorrow night, then partly sunny and pleasant Saturday and Sunday with temperatures in the upper 70s. Right now it's 75 in Newington, 74 in Manchester, and 76 in Hartford. This is meteorologist Scott Homan in the WTIC Weather Center.
Join Mark Patrick Seminars Lose the Weight, Stop Smoking Early Bird Special, $49.99. Seminars Thursday, September 18th, Hilton Garden in Hartford, North Bradley International Airport, Windsor. Weight loss 5:30 p.m. Stop Smoking Seminar 8 p.m. Or Saturday, September 20th, Holiday Inn Express, Southington. Weight loss 11 a.m. Stop Smoking Seminar 2 p.m.
Never liked braces? Invisalign is an alternative that may be right for you. It's removable, more comfortable, and reduces the risk of developing cavities and gum disease. Get your dream smile discreetly and easily. Call Columbia Dental at 860-645-0111. It's summertime. If you're between the ages of 17 and 25, now's the time to check your wisdom teeth. Impacted wisdom teeth can cause a lot of unnecessary pain, so let Columbia Dental remove them sooner than later. Call 860-645-0111.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Bureau. Their award-winning team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to end your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other IRS actions. Make sure you're getting the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima today for a free confidential consultation.
Call 800-473-9933. 800-473-9933. 800-473-9933.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Dedicated to serving people 50 and up like me. Our needs are different. Big Wireless wants us in an unlimited plan, but if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on affordable, reliable plans, including data that suits your needs, not ours. Our plans start at just $20, and you'll get the best customer service in the business.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/fax or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
This Labor Day weekend, we're celebrating Bob's Discount Furniture's 200th store milestone with the entire Bob's family across the country.
For more than 30 years, we've believed everyone deserves the home they love.
That's why we brought our everyday low prices on furniture, mattresses, and more to over 200 locations from coast to coast and counting. Not to mention free treats for the whole family in our cafes. Celebrate Bob's Discount Furniture's 200 store milestone this Labor Day weekend.
Oh, my Bob!
Oh, hold still. This is only going to hurt a little. It's Reese on the radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
I got to do it, because it's time. Negro nonsense. Negro nonsense.
How dare you?
Negro nonsense.
How dare you?
Yes, how dare I? It's time for Negro Nonsense right here on Reese on the Radio. This gentleman on your screen, and you may not be able to see him if you're listening on the radio, is a guy by the name of Jonathan Conyers. Jonathan Conyers writes an article for the website publication called The Griot, and he is featured in today's Negro Nonsense. Why, you might ask? Well, because he wrote the most ridiculous article I've ever heard or read in my entire life. It should have been the stupidest thing I read today, but it appropriately is being nominated for Negro Nonsense this Thursday. The headline: the real hoax was never Jussie Smollett. It was the Chicago police, he writes. I grew up knowing the difference between a mistake and a pattern. A mistake is a bad night. A pattern is a system. Netflix The Truth About Jussie Smollett makes you think the story is about him, whether he lied, staged a hoax, or played the media. That's the bait, Jonathan writes. The real shock isn't Jussie. The real shock is the Chicago Police Department, a force with hundreds of misconduct complaints, a history of covering up brutality, and a knack for turning black victims into villains. Forget debating whether Jussie is believable. He says, forget about it. It's the subject of the damn documentary. He says, forget about that debate. The debate should be about how anyone can trust the people deciding his fate. Let's be clear. The officers tied to Smollett's case had 563 complaints on their records. Not 5, not 50, 563. If a surgeon had 5 malpractice suits, you wouldn't let him touch a scalpel. If a teacher had dozens of abuse complaints, they'd be banned from the classroom, but not for 500 failed students. No, you keep them teaching and you tenure them, Jonathan. I'm sure you would. That's why he was very, very clever in what he said here. Yeah, but again, he suggests that we should be looking at this documentary and Jussie Smollett's case as if it's not about Jussie Smollett and the lie and the money that he cost the city of Chicago. It's about the police turning him into a villain when he was a victim. We know he was not a victim, unless, of course, a victim of his own making, when he decided to hire 2 Africans to do a white racist job. I mean, come on. If we're going to outsource anything, it shouldn't be racism. And by the way, you couldn't hire a bunch of white guys to do this? In this case, was it one of those things where Jussie Smollett was so enamored by the idea of DEI that he couldn't hire actual white people to play white people, so even then he had to blacken it up? Like, is that what he had to do? Did he have to go, normally I would hire a white guy for this position, but there's so many black actors out there who don't get an opportunity. Let me hire these 2 Nigerian brothers. Keep it in the family. So Jonathan Conyers, boy, this is sad, but there you go, Negro nonsense. I would get into the Al Sharpton doing a DEI march today, but no one cared. Like, no one cared. And he did a DEI march at Wall Street, which didn't seem to make sense. He said he compared it to the March on Washington. He couldn't get to Washington? Oh, that's why. I know why he didn't go to Washington. It's too clean. And you know what? It is true. Donald Trump is down there cleaning up criminals. So why would Al Sharpton be there? But I digress. Let's get back to the phones. 860-522-WTIC. Let's go to Fulton. What's up, buddy?
What's up, buddy? 560 complaints. I mean, how many of those were founded? That's an outrageous number for, I don't know. Waterbury, I don't even think we had that in my whole time I was there for the whole department. But I guess those 5 guys, they got those 500 complaints.
Yeah, apparently.
I really called to talk about, have you ever heard of the Zizian?
The Dizian?
The Zizian with a Z.
Oh, Zizian. No, that doesn't sound familiar. What is that?
Okay, so it's a trans cult that's now.
Forgive me. Sorry, let me cut you off. Fulton, I am aware of them because Simsbury Joe referenced them about the state trooper who was killed, I believe, in New Hampshire. The person who killed him was a member of that group.
Patrol in Vermont.
That's correct.
You got it. So I'm wondering if the connection to these guys, there's too many similarities. Like, everything is so similar. Like, they don't live near each other. All those murders from the Zizians around the country, they're not, but they're all affiliated together, and they're all pushing their own agenda, right?
Yeah, there may need to be a deep dive into that sort of interweb connection between them. Like, because they all communicate via social media, be it the dark web.
What I'm saying. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. Like, where do you come up with the same ideas? Like, there's no way the local media all say the same thing unless somebody's giving them that script to say. Like, when they play that on TV and it's like every media is saying the same thing, same verbiage.
Well, that was the reason why I played Andrew McCabe, because as much of a piece of scum we think he is, he did put on his FBI thinking cap when he said what he said on CNN. Let me play it for you, because I thought that was, again, Andrew McCabe is a cop. So, when you see certain patterns, you can't avoid it. Here's what he said.
This one is really remarkable to me in that respect. I was looking at, I haven't seen the manifesto, so I can't say whether there are specific references to the 2023 Covenant School shooter in Nashville. But if you look at that situation and this one, there are remarkable similarities. So both were in their 20s, both targeted religious schools that they formerly attended.
So McCabe is operating like a profiler in the FBI. And when he says that there are extraordinary similarities, I immediately had to look that up. And sure enough, there were.
I said that. I said it from the beginning. And I said the second thing, not for nothing, like Christine yesterday. She first starts with the violence thing. She's like, oh, why did you relate this to violence? You don't know what it's about. And then at the end, she calls for violence. She goes, well, that's...
Oh, you're talking about... Yes. You're talking about Courtney yesterday.
Right, the phone call yesterday. She's like, we don't advocate violence. Why is everybody saying that? By the end of the phone call, I'm talking about 2 sentences later, you said, so you're calling for violence? She said, yeah, that's how you get things done. Okay, well, there you go. I said, one more thing. Tim Walz, during the vice presidential debate, doesn't he say something like he's friends with school shooters?
He was look. I know my wife brought that up before. He was nervous as all get out. He had never been on a stage like that before in a debate. He said, "I'm friends with school shooters." It was the ugliest thing I ever heard in my entire life.
Look now, though, right?
Yeah.
Now that you're saying,
It didn't.
everybody's
It
family.
didn't.
Whose family, Tim?
It's
Whose
he
family?
knows that's coming back to bite him every day
Not
right
for
now.
nothing. And the last shooting was the guy from his office that shot the goddamn the governor.
First thing I said yesterday. That was the first thing I said yesterday was that here we are back on Tim Walz's doorstep, another mass shooting or another politically motivated
George
shooting.
Floyd, no police. Like we don't want the police. We don't want our kids to die. We don't want cops in the school. What are the answers? Nobody has the answers. But take more guns from people.
Connecticut had the answer today because what did they do in response? They went to the soft
cops
targets.
showed up.
Yep, cops showed up. Yep. Thank you, boss. I appreciate you.
Thank you, buddy.
You got it. Let's go to Dave in Litchfield. How we doing, sir?
Hello, Reese. Yeah, as far as what Tim said, he can fire him as fast as he can pull the trigger. That's a mark of a good quality gun. For your people out there who are not, familiar with this, Jerry Michlik, I believe his name is spelled Miceluk. Jerry, I saw advertisements in magazines. Jerry Michlik fires 12 shots of a 6-shot Smith & Wesson in 3.98 seconds. I said, how can that be? He can. He can fire it that quickly. He uses a speed loader. He fires a revolver so fast they sound like machine guns.
Right.
Another one you want to watch is Bob Munden, Munden. He has a single action 6-gun, which means you have to cock it before you fire it.
Oh, wow.
Reproductions of the old. And so those are made for like.
Does he do the old? Sorry to cut you off, but does he do the old like from the westerns where he pulls back the hammer with the other hand?
Yeah, he does. Yeah. He draws the gun, Bob Munden, cocks it, fires it, hits it accurately, hits the target accurately, and reholsters it in 2/100ths of a second.
Wow.
He fires the gun so fast, he's dead now, Bob. But when in his heyday, when he was alive, he fired the gun so fast that if you play it in regular speed, it sounds like one shot. It's actually two.
Wow.
And as far as that goes, it's been illegal to have machine guns for the average citizen since September of '86. New machine guns. You can buy used ones, but you have to get a federal firearms license. They cost like $25,000 a piece. As far as that goes, though, you can make these fake Glocks. I think you talked about them. You can get these auto sears.
Yes.
And you convert them to full auto. People say, well, ban the Glocks and then ban the files that instruct you how to do that. Well, you know what? You and I could get arrested tonight based on some crime committed out of Peoria, Illinois. Somebody could have stolen our ID on the dark web. They'll pass it along on the dark web how to make these fake Glocks. They'll make the fake Glocks. They'll get the auto sears. And the borders will be, you can't shut everything down. You'll get them in here just like the drugs are continue to come in. And you can spray people with automatic gunfire, true automatic from a Glock, which is totally illegal. And, like 65% of the time in the state of Connecticut, they plea bargain the firearms violations away.
That is another, and I mentioned that yesterday, Dave. That's one of the problems that I have here in Connecticut is look, true gun reform isn't just in the prohibition of them. If somebody does have a gun illegally, because we know that's how many of them are getting them, and those who are using them in nefarious ways and harmful ways are people who have them illegally. But we've got to stop plea dealing these people who get those guns. And I'm sorry. And even if you have to, and I know this is this thing where people don't seem to understand, but then again, I think they do. They know that the people who are using them are gang members who are in the black community or in the Latino community. And this sort of twisting themselves in a pretzel by prosecuting them, but in a lenient way because they don't want to seem oppressive to this group is not helping a soul. It is costing the life of millions of people across the country. And they've got to stand by and say, look, if you're caught with an illegal gun, and forget about the harshness. If we're serious about gun control, and that what it is, it's entailing gun control, the punishments have to fit these crimes as well. We've got to say, if you're caught with a gun and you're not supposed to have one, we've got to give you 10 to 15 years. Mandatory. No arguments.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Another thing, too, is my parents were educators. My father was a math teacher, and he became a school psychologist later on. They're both deceased now, but I can remember, starting in the late 70s up until about the mid-'80s, the teen suicide rate skyrocketed in this country. I remember they made me study it in health class. The gym teacher also had to teach health in my high school.
Oh, wow.
A small high school. But watching a teen suicide rate, and what was the reaction? Was like a collective yawn from society.
Wow.
I mean, anytime there's any little labor dispute in France, they're all out there, all the socialists out there marching the streets. All parents should be out there marching in the streets. Hey, our kids are committing suicide. But it's like people believe in this country you can buy your way into happiness, or then the socialists think you can regulate your way. More government interference is going to work. No, we need a sense of community, and we don't have that. It's, loneliness is becoming an epidemic.
Isn't that crazy? And to quote something that's a little controversial, Ted Kaczynski said that was going to be the new information society was going to sort of direct us away from one another and less humanity and less community. Thank you, Dave. I appreciate you, buddy. He talks about that teen suicide thing. Does anybody here remember Molly Ringwald and I think Rob Lowe were in an after-school special about homicide? I'm almost certain it was Molly Ringwald. I could be wrong. I'm going to look it up now. Let's get another check of weather and traffic. Scott Homan is in for Bob Larson, and we got Mark Christophers in the BPS Traffic Center. Do you remember any of those after-school specials, Mark? They're vague, right?
Yeah, not really. No,
yeah, it's an '80s thing.
I remember conjunction junction. What's your function? But not what you were just talking about.
No, sir.
Hey, if you're heading into Hartford right now, 84 eastbound, you're looking at delays from exit 44 Prospect Oakwood into the tunnel. Westbound side of 84 is slowing, approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 47 Sigourney Street. 91 southbound delays 34 down to 32 A and B, and again down by exit 27 and 28. Northbound 91, that's moving well. Cromwell through downtown, a little slow up in Windsor 35 up to exit 36. If you are traveling 291 eastbound, a little tight coming off of I-91 over to the Bissell Bridge. If you're traveling 3 southbound, some slow traffic now approaching the Putnam Bridge down to the 91 ramps in Wethersfield. Northbound Route 3, a little tight between 13A and B and C as you head over to Route 2. Into Middletown, 9 southbound slowing, Cromwell Middletown line down to the Aragoni Bridge. 91 southbound in Meriden slows approaching 19 down to exit 17. If you're traveling 84 eastbound in Waterbury, sluggish 17 to 18. Again, 26 down to the 691 interchange. Westbound side of 84 slows 26 to 25A. And again, 23 into the Mixmaster. Heading down toward New Haven, southbound Parkway delays 62 into the West Rock. Northbound Parkway slowing, approaching 59 into the West Rock Tunnel. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
Brought to you by the CT Insider. Explore more at ctinsider.com.
There's more to Connecticut with CT Insider, a hometown behind every headline. With every issue, investigation, or interview, there's more when you're following from the inside. Visit ctinsider.com for more.
WTIC weather.
The remainder of this afternoon, partly sunny and pleasant with a high 77. Increasing clouds tonight with a low of 58. Then a lot of clouds tomorrow, a couple of showers, and a thunderstorm into the early afternoon. Then gusty winds and small hail can accompany any thunderstorm with a high of 75. Clear tomorrow night, low 53. Then partly sunny and pleasant on Saturday with a high of 76. This is meteorologist Scott Homan in the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a WTIC news update.
75 degrees at 5:30. I'm Dave Mager, WTIC 1080 News. With an eye on restarting the project, Governor Lamont wants more information from the White House on why it shut down Revolution Wind.
You see everything you need on that pier necessary to complete this job in the next 6 months. It will make a real difference in terms of reliability and bringing down the price of electricity. And now it's on hold.
He thinks it will get back on track. The wind farm was nearing completion and will be capable of powering 350,000 homes. The acting U.S. attorney in Minnesota says, based on writings, the Minneapolis school shooter hated everyone except other school shooters whom he admired. He killed 2 children and injured 15 other kids. And acting U.S. Attorney Joe Thompson says that's what he was trying to do.
More than anything, the shooter wanted to kill children, defenseless children. The shooter was obsessed with the idea of killing children. The shooter saw the attack as a way to target our most vulnerable.
The 15 injured children are between 5 and 15 years old. 3 others, all in their 80s, were also hurt. The mayor of Hartford is pleading with the WNBA to approve the sale of the Connecticut Sun to a group that would move it to the capital city rather than Boston or elsewhere. The WNBA reportedly holding up the sale in the interest of an expansion process. Mayor Arunan Arunapalam spoke this morning in front of the Suns' would-be home, the newly renamed People's Bank Arena.
Look, half the WNBA cut their teeth on the hardwood right behind me, playing either for or against the most storied basketball team in all of women's basketball, the UConn Huskies. And this is how the league shows their appreciation for that history, by saying to Connecticut, you don't get to have a team anymore.
Governor Lamont says the effort to keep the Sun in the state is, quote, an uphill climb. The Sun will play at least one more season at Mohegan Sun. On Wall Street, the Dow closed up 72, S&P was plus 20, NASDAQ was plus 115. Sports, here's a big one. The Dallas Cowboys have traded superstar pass rusher Micah Parsons to the Green Bay Packers. The Red Sox get the 4-game sweep in Baltimore, beating the Orioles 3-2. Yankees at the White Sox. The Mets host Miami. The Yard Goats home against Portland. And I should say that Dallas trade of Micah Parsons to Green Bay, credit for that story to ESPN. For more, check out WTIC.com. I'm Dave Mager, WTIC 1080 News.
Viking, dedicated to creating travel experiences for the thinking person, with programs designed for cultural enrichment on board and on shore. Discover more at Viking.com. That's Viking.com. Viking.com.
Slow? Clogged? Backed up? Don't worry. ALO Home Services has you covered. For only $93, our technician will clear any drain in your home. And if it can't be cleared, it's free. Call for details. Licensed for safety. HIC 628926, P10277688, S104062441, S3308699, SM3004646, E1185643.
Looking to learn more about McLean's award-winning assisted living and memory care? Join McLean in Simsbury for a special panel discussion on September 18th at Hop Meadow Country Club. Meet our care team, get your questions answered, and enjoy light appetizers. Seating is limited. RSVP by September 10th. Then come back to McLean for an open house on September 23rd. No RSVP needed. Tour our beautiful community. Meet our staff or schedule a private tour at your convenience. McLean, where compassionate care meets community.
You're welcome.
Visit exploremclain.org.
I would absolutely welcome federal support, but I also know with federal support is going to be necessary and required. It's the reason that I've said we would love to have additional.
Thousands of 5-star Google reviews and an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, TRA is resolving taxpayers' delinquent tax problems nationwide once and for all. We could significantly reduce and even eliminate what you owe the IRS. If you haven't filed your taxes in years or are already facing collections, we can help. We aren't just some run-of-the-mill tax service company. We specialize in helping individuals and businesses with $10,000, $50,000, or even $500,000 in back taxes get speedy resolution. And in many cases, only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. The IRS isn't going anywhere, and neither is your tax problem. To see what tax relief you qualify for, visit TRA.com or call 800-335-8578. 800-335-8578. Again, that's 800-335-8578. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
The Odyssey app lets you jump back to the moments you missed from WTIC News Talk 1080. Download the free Odyssey app, search WTIC News Talk 1080, and tap earlier today to get started.
What had happened was.
That's for you, Carmela. It's what had happened was. Right here on WTIC News Talk 1080, Reese on the radio. What had happened was, we talked about the comparisons between the two shooters. Took a lot of phone calls on that subject matter. Also, at the beginning of the show, we talked about the curious case of Kevin Rosario Moreno and why no one seems to be talking about him, even in light of the Newington 7 who were arrested last Saturday at a car wash, which, by the way, if you didn't hear this, let me be the first to tell you. Officers were not wearing masks in Newington. There were like one or two, but I've seen the photos. People in the community took photos of the arrests. And ICE was not out there with masks. There was no masked marauders out there. And I was also talking about Mayor Arunin, as you heard at the top of the hour news, or bottom of the hour news, about his press conference outside of the People's Bank Arena, pledging, whatever he can to keep the Connecticut Sun in Connecticut and to play in Hartford. And I was, of course, mentioning the fact that he was telling Connecticut citizens to contact the WNBA, who have changed their telephone number for some odd reason to an AI phone. And I guess the WNBA doesn't want to be reached, and he found some sort of issue with that. And I was saying, that's odd, because we here in Connecticut find that same problem when it comes to him and other elected officials who don't seem to want to answer any questions, who in some cases, and I'm on good authority to say that people like Governor Lamont do not want certain press credentials given out to some people in the media. I don't want to say any names, Fox 61. I don't want to say who they might be, WTNH. Even though, from what I understand, there are some people at WTNH who go to Christmas parties with the guy, but doesn't want to send out press release and won't take questions, oddly enough. One day I'm going to be able to tell you the dirt on that story, but give us some time. I promise I'll get to you. I don't want to disparage anybody here. Let's get another check of weather and traffic. We got Scott Homan, who's filling in for Bob Larson, who is our new meteorologist, by the way. And we got Mark Christophers in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Well, 84 eastbound coming into Hartford, delays.
He's not new.
6th Avenue down to the boat.
Our new. Our new.
Slow 58.
He's done this stuff
for us before. Reach out to 45
but
Flatbush.
he's our
If you are
new
southbound 91, delays 33, and Hartford down to 32 A and B. Another bump down by exit 28. If you're traveling southbound 91 in Meriden, some slow traffic 19 down to 17 with the Wilbur Cross Parkway. Northbound 91, good ride Cromwell into Hartford. We are seeing a little slow traffic as you move between exit 34 and 36 in Windsor. 2 westbounds tied up, 1D up to the 84 west merge. 9 southbounds a little slow at the Aracody Bridge. 84 westbound in Cheshire, delays from 26 up to the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound in Waterbury slowing by 18. Again, some slow traffic, 25A down to the 691 interchange in Cheshire. Southbound Parkway, look for delays from exit 62 down into the West Rock Tunnel. 95 southbound New Haven slowing 46 down to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Increasing cloudiness tonight, a low of 58. Mostly cloudy tomorrow. A couple of showers and a thunderstorm into the early afternoon. Any of those storms can contain gusty winds and small hail with a high of 75. Clear and cool tomorrow night, low of 50. Then pleasant on Saturday, high 76. And another nice day on Sunday with partly sunny skies and a high of 78. Right now it's 73 in Unionville, 74 in Marlborough, and 76 in Hartford. This is meteorologist Scott Homan in the WTIC Weather Center.
Hi, Eric Hogarth, Money Wisdom. This week, we're going to talk about interest rates. Do they really matter to you? And what impact do they have? And also answer the questions that you and your friends have been asking. Tune in this Saturday at 8:30, right here on TIC News Talk 1080.
Join Mark Patrick Seminars Lose the Weight Stop Smoking Early Bird Special $49.99. Seminars Thursday, September 18th, Hilton Garden in Hartford North, Bradley International Airport, Windsor. Weight loss 5:30 p.m. Stop Smoking Seminar 8 p.m. Or Saturday, September 20th, Holiday Inn Express Southington. Weight loss 11 a.m. Stop Smoking Seminar 2 p.m.
Tune in to WTIC News Talk 1080 for Healthy Rounds, Saturday mornings 11 till noon. Learn from the top experts about the latest medical news and call in with your questions. Healthy Rounds, sponsored by Hartford Healthcare, Saturday mornings 11 till noon on WTIC News Talk 1080 and WTIC.com.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com. Auto repair bills are through the roof. $3,000 to replace the transmission. $4,000 for a blown engine. And if your manufacturer's warranty is expired, you'll have to cover it all out of pocket. You need an Endurance Auto Protection Plan. No matter what the mileage, if your car is under 20 years old, Endurance can get you covered on the engine, electrical system, transmission, AC, drivetrain, and more. Endurance has plans for any budget. Repairs can be done at the certified mechanic of your choice, and they're paid directly with no middleman. Plans cover 24/7 roadside assistance, towing, battery jumps, fuel deliveries, tire changes, lockout services, and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Act now and get our elite benefits, including complete tire care and key fob replacement. A $2,000 value at no extra cost. With Endurance, you could never pay for covered auto repairs again, so call now for your free quote. Call 800-253-6203. 800-253-6203. 800-253-6203.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
What's up, everybody? You know who it is.
You know who it is. You know who it is.
It's Reese on the Radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
All right, we're back. We're almost out of here. Again, congratulations to the Red Sox for, of course, winning, even though preempting my show to the online realm. We'll be back here tomorrow, do it all over again. I've still got plenty of news and plenty of views I haven't gotten into yet. Let me just give you a preview of that as well before we get out of here. I'm going to read, by the way, the second part of that trans Reddit. I've got to talk about what David Hogg said about Hakeem Jeffries and Hakeem's reluctance to support, what's his face? Zoran Mamdani. I don't know why. I don't know. I have no idea why I drew a blank on him. I've got some great audio on that. We'll play that as well tomorrow. Also, there's another story that I want to get into, and that's the Mike Smerconish thing I keep saying that I'm going to talk about, which is really a despicable piece of audio, which shows exactly the road that the left wants our people, our children especially. So I'm going to play that. I have to play this now because this was breaking news. I want to thank Kevin B. for sending it to me. This just happened about a little more than half an hour ago on a little more than that now. It's probably an hour ago on Will Cain's show on Fox, on the Fox News channel. He was talking to Maryland Governor Wes Moore. I also understand there's some other explosive details in that interview where he exposes Governor Wes Moore, for lying about receiving the Bronze Star. We'll get into that as it pertains. But this was interesting. With all the people in these cities that have crazy violence in them, Baltimore being way up there, there has been this refusal of federal help by the Trump administration. But Will Cain got Wes Moore after, of course, Muriel Bowser, the D.C. mayor, has now changed her tune. Listen to this exchange.
Governor, I appreciate the investment, but it would just seem to me, if despite that investment, Baltimore still ranks 3rd in the nation in violent crime rate per capita in the nation, that you would welcome in the President of the United States help if crime in Maryland. And as to the point of partisan politics, it's simply the truth. The truth isn't partisan, and the truth is most of the major cities in the United States are run by Democrat governors, and they're also the highest rate crime cities in the country. I'm on limited time, and I want to give you a chance to address something,
I would
though, Governor,
absolutely
because President
welcome
Trump brought
federal
it up.
support.
Apparently, there we go. You would welcome federal support. That's wonderful to hear.
I would absolutely welcome federal support.
Happy to hear that.
But I also know what federal support is going to be necessary and required. It's the reason that I've said we would love to have additional support for license plate readers, things that we know can actually stop crimes as they are happening and making sure that people are brought to justice, and not having $30 million cut from public safety budgeting that is coming from the federal government. That I would love to be able to make sure that the federal government can do things like ban ghost guns and making sure we're eliminating these extended clips for Glocks, which essentially are turning Glocks into automatic weapons. I would love to make sure we're investing in local law enforcement, because we are...
By the way, for those of you who don't know, investing means government spending. There's no such thing. I love the word investing. Like there's a return. Stop using that word. You guys sound silly when you do. We need to invest in education. You mean just spend? Just say spend. I would love it if my wife would say, I'd like to invest in a Louis Vuitton bag at $4,000. What return am I going to get from it? My happiness, dear. That's what she says, by the way, every time. What do I get for that purse? Me being happy. Oh. By the way, that is only for a limited time. It is always just for a limited time. So there you have it. Wes Moore conceding he would accept federal help. He needs it. He needs it. They're losing on this. They've been losing on this for a while, and it's about time these guys recognize it. It's just about time. The violence in those cities, they're only going to create more black Republicans. And even if they don't become Republicans, they're damn sure not going to vote for libs. They're just not. They're going to vote for their safety and for their own interests. That's all I'm saying. All right, let me get up out of here. And before I do, let's go to our good friend White Mike calling in from Florida. What's up, sir?
Did I just hear that moron Wes Moore say that these extended clips for Glocks turned them into machine guns?
Yes, he did.
Did he just say that? No, you friggin' milk dud-looking idiot. What happens is these people have illegal switches that replace the back plate on the slide and turn Glocks into fully automatic pistols.
They don't why is that? Go ahead.
That's massively illegal.
Right. Why is it? I want to play this for you, too. I don't know if you heard this earlier. This was Evan Perez, right, at CNN. This is him talking about the gun that was used in, of course, the Minnesota shooting. Listen to what he says here.
It seemed like a rifle, he said, a semi-automatic rifle, and it went on for several minutes.
Right, and look, that's not uncommon as well. These things can shoot dozens of bullets, in just one trigger pull, right? And so,
again, it's not that hard to figure out. I know it frustrates you.
It's just a rifle. These people have elevated this simple rifle to weapon of mass destruction. It's a dinky little round. You can't even hunt deer with it in most places. It's not powerful enough. It's just a rifle. If I had stood outside, it's hypothetical, if I were outside that building with nobody stopping me and I had a .357 Magnum revolver, I'd kill 12 people before anybody gets to me. It's not about the firearms, it's about the fact that nobody stopped this person.
That's right.
And we could stop a lot of this if we return to the old DSM certifications for mental illness.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody who's a transgender or a homosexual should be allowed to buy a firearm because, according to psychiatry, they're mentally ill.
Now, you know what's funny? Because I talked to a clinical psychiatrist who said that to me in a sort of whispering tone. We were private having dinner, and she said it to me in this whispering tone because she was concerned that others might hear it. Is it true that people in the psychiatric world are afraid to say the truth out loud?
Yes. Dude, it's the same reason that we dropped the standard for mental retardation from 85 to 75 in the 70s. You know why we dropped it?
Why?
Because the average IQ of an African American is 85 in this country. That's why. And you couldn't have a standard that said that most black people are mentally retarded, so they dropped it to 75.
Now,
it was 85 until the 70s.
Now, it's funny you say that. I was just telling my wife about this story. Do you remember the the Wendy's shooting in Queens, where there were two burglars who robbed a Wendy's and they killed the employees execution style in the 90s? Does that ring a bell at all?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
this
indeed.
was the story where the two men in New York, Governor Pataki was the governor of New York at the time and insisted on the death penalty for all of these people. This story was so huge back in the days, folks, and some of you may remember it, that Dave Thomas came to Queens and held a press conference to support the families of the victims, right? The people who had died. That's how big this story was. And they wanted the death penalty for both individuals. One got them, but one of them, they said, was mentally incapable of being tried as a fully functioning adult. And the big debate was whether or not he could be put to death because he would be considered mentally retarded. But it was for the exact same standard you said. Because, and again, this person willingly did the deed that he did. This guy didn't, there's that George and Lenny sort of, as we, sort of consider people of mental retardation. But this guy was a fully functioning young man who knows what he did, but they used the thinnest of reasoning to keep him from facing the death penalty.
And the way I figured, if they're actually retarded, they won't know what's going on anyway. We can tell them it's a carnival ride, let them ride the lightning.
Exactly.
I don't care.
It's exactly right. And it wasn't like this kid didn't know not what he was doing, but he was also well aware of the consequences of the death penalty.
And real quick, how come all these shooters who go on these rampages seem to have enough money to buy a whole bunch of stuff?
There's a lot of money here.
You know,
a lot of money spent there.
AR-15 is minimum $500. That shotgun he had is $500. The handgun's probably $500. He had several $100s worth of magazines for everything, plus body armor, plus all kinds of ammo. And he was a gig worker who's paying rent in his apartment. Unless he had a credit card he loaded up, I don't see how he got like $3,000 worth of stuff.
Yeah, it's an we're gonna
time.
That's probably one of the most it's got to be one of the considerable questions in all of it, and we should find out exactly how he paid for it. They said he purchased the gun legally, so I'm assuming it was with his own funds, and it may very well have been a credit card.
And if we had the old standard that said these people were mentally ill, he wouldn't have been allowed to buy it in the first place.
That's exactly right. That's why I said a red flag law should have played a role.
Some store owner should have said no, but then he'd get sued for discrimination because he won't sell to a transformer. So they're screwed.
Thank you, man. All right, I want to address this in the thing. First of all, Donald, you're screaming into the chat room that what he said was racist. Did you check out the data? Because we know it to be true. It's actually a conversation that we've had plenty of times on the air. Do you remember when they changed the term monkeypox just recently? Why did the CDC change the term monkeypox? Why did they change it? It's always been the monkeypox, but why did they change it? Because they, the CDC, not us, they associated the term monkey with African Americans. And they didn't want people making fun of African Americans who were stricken with monkeypox. And people use it in a derogatory way. So we know it's a fact. And you may not know this because then again, you didn't do the research. The only thing you researched was your outrage, was that they changed the standards. And I know this because I'm good friends with a clinical psychiatrist who has 40 years in the business. And the woman's Puerto Rican. Okay? Just so you understand. Just because you hear something you don't like and you're outraged about it, do the research and then get back to me and then start screaming about how it's racist. But when you go read it, which by the way, we know you didn't do, you never bother to do. Most of you people who are screaming racism never do the homework that I do for you. Technically, I should get your grades. But I do the homework for you. If I may say so myself, I get legions of phone calls and text messages right here on this show that say, Reese, I'm grateful at how well researched you are. Because that's my job. But you didn't research a thing, did you? All you can find yourself is outraged and ashamed. I don't have to worry about your outrage or your shame because I'm telling the truth. I don't give a damn about your optics. Those are for fools. So if you don't like the fact, talk to the people who actually changed the standard. That's all. Go be outraged where it counts. No, sir. What you're finding me to be hopeless of is to bowing to your rhetoric. This is what you don't understand. I will not kneel. You can forget about it. You call me hopeless because you mean I'm hopeless to your whim. I am Reese on the Radio. Just going to be Reese on the Radio. And I'm not going to be offended by everything that I hear. It's like, oh, that sounds racist. Too bad. Grow up. Be an adult. Seriously. Call a cop. That's what I said to my wife the other day. Call a cop. It's so mean. I know. All right, tomorrow, don't forget, we got more news, more views. If any details about this story go on, but as far as I'm concerned, I've moved on.
Breaking news.
What do we have? What's breaking news?
Micah Parsons
I
traded
heard
to the Packers.
Yeah, Dallas always sends everybody over there. If they don't send them to what do you call it? To the Raiders.
So what do they have? Some type of the owners have some type of
No, I mean, what was the last guy who left Washington? I mean, left Dallas to go to the Packers. There's always somebody who is up there. Micah Parsons wasn't going to be happy at Dallas anyway. That team's not going to win for another 10 years.
Yeah, well, they messed up on that one. I will
Listen,
say.
I'll tell you what they need to do. They need to finally finally, like, take let's say, take some testosterone shots and fire Dak Prescott. He's whack. He's whack.
He was good at the first 3 years, but then after that is.
He is 100% whack. You know what? He's so whack, he makes Tony Romo look good. And I used to call him Tony Oh No Romo. Why did I call him? Because every time he got the ball, I go, oh no! Because there's going to be something wrong. Dak. I call him Whack Prescott. Get rid of that guy. It's over. Right now, I'd rather, no. If I'm a Jet fan. The Dallas Cowboys are so horrible, I can't bring myself to root for them. I can't. I can't.
They're going to be good this year, man.
I'm sorry, no offense, but is there a repeat on? You sound like I've heard that before. I don't know where. Time to get up out of here. As I always say, radio was free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your mind. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese On The Radio. You have a good night, pleasant tomorrow. Scott Holman filling in for Bob Larson and Mark Christopher. He's in the BPS Driving Center. Good night, sir.
Hey, have a great night, Reese. If you're heading into Hartford Southbound 91, delays by 33.
All right, sir.
All right.
Exit 28
Manana.
on the Hartford
I got to go out
line.
and go
If you're heading down into Meriden,
Yeah.
I have to start
an accident
packing.
down by exit 9.
Get that packing on.
I hate doing
Delays
this
back to
stuff.
exit 20 and
Hire a moving company.
I don't
It's a
trust
little
those
slow
guys.
up in-
I know. I say it to you every time.
on the right shoulder.
See you
State
tomorrow.
Police working with.
Oh no. Good. Have a good weekend. Catch you on Tuesday.
Oh, that's right. You're not,
84 East Funds, a
you
little
leaving
slow
tomorrow?
approaching
Yeah, I'm out tomorrow.
All right, no
into the
problem.
tunnel.
Who's
Looks
filling
good,
in, Joey?
291.3.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Slows 1
Holla, buddy.
84 West.
Yes, sir.
East Hartford. Quiet Middletown. West Bend 84 in
Bowling.
6 to 25A. Again,
Oh,
at
you
the
in
Mixmaster,
Delaware, aren't you?
84 East
Rhode Island.
Oh, Rhode
by
Island.
18.
Okay.
Heading
All right, well,
toward
good
New
luck.
Haven, southbound on the Parkway.
Thank you, sir.
You got
1.
it. All right, folks. Thank you, Ray. Thank you, Michael A. Thank you, Lori. It's always been a pleasure. Donald, no offense, but, dude, I'm sorry. This is just one of those things that, you're so hooked on the black thing, dude. You're just so hooked on it. You don't even see me. You don't. You really don't see me. You just see my color, which is the most disrespectful thing in it all. Like, you don't even understand that I take offense to the fact that you only see me as a black man. And I try to explain this to everybody, dude. I'm a man. I'm not a spotted owl. Right? I'm not a derivative of. I'm a man. I'm a 56-year-old man. I'm no different than anyone. I'm as accomplished as anyone. I can do anything I want to if I put my mind to it. But I'm a man, not a black man, not a person of African-American descent. I'm none of those things. I'm a man. I'm a grown-ass man. And if you want to live your life being a derivative of or a subspecies, whatever the F that is, you go on and do that. But please don't come up in me with all the, I'm so offended and ashamed. I don't need, do you really think that I give a good damn about what you are ashamed of when it comes to me? I'm not here representing you. I'm not your kid. I don't have your last name. You didn't bear me. That's your problem. You think that because I'm black, you think I have some sort of allegiance to you. I've got none. No offense, but black people have never done a thing for me. My friends, my family, they have busted their ass for me. And the people who matter, I will always give a damn about whether or not I shame them. But you're just some random Negro. You don't really think you hold any weight here, do you? I respect you as a man, and I respect your patronage to this show. But don't you ever think that your shame carries weight. If it really did, you just leave instead of sticking around to be abused. Because that's technically what I'm doing. Every day I say something you don't like, you're just being abused. And perhaps you like that. Maybe that's your fetish. Maybe you're just like an abused girlfriend in some way. And if that's your thing, dude, that's your kink, have at it. But with all due respect, when you have a kink, just enjoy it. Please stop telling the dominatrix how hard they should bite you. Do you understand? It works. Let's understand what our relationship is. I do my thing, you listen. But your shame, keep it in your pants. We don't care over here. Y'all have a good night. Stay good to each other.